Dober dan, dobro jutro, lepo pozdravljene, spoštovane udeleženke, udeleženci. Že 9. nacionalne konference o trajnostnem upravljanju z viri skupnosti, letos pod naslovom Energetska preobrazba po meri ljudi. Jaz sem Natalija Vrhunc, moderatorka današnje konference. Konferenco organizirata Umanotera, Slovenska fundacija za trajnostni razvoj in društvo Fokus v okviru projekta Care for Climate, ki je integralni projekt namenjen spodbujanju ukrepov za blaženje podnebnih sprememb v Sloveniji. Sofinanciran je tudi sredstvi programa LIFE, sredstvi sklada za podnebne spremembe in pa sredstev projektnih partnerjev. Konference, torej vse te konference pod naslovom krovno temo Dovolj za vse, so namenjene temu, da pokažemo, da že obstajajo številne napredne lokalne skupnosti, ki aktivno zmanjšujejo izpuste toplogrednih plinov in tako prevzemajo vodilno vlogo pri spoprijemanju s podnebno krizo. Predvsem pa želimo prispevati tudi k izmenjavi izkušenj, znanja in pa prenosu dobrih praks v druga lokalna okolja. Današnji dogodek se snema in v živo predvaja na Facebook profilu Umanotere in Dovolj za vse. Naj še povem, da bodo vse predstavitve, ki jih boste danes videli, in vse informacije z današnje konference na voljo, v smislu, da bodo poslane vsem udeležencem konference po konferenci. Hkrati pa bodo objavljene tudi na spletnih stranih Umanotere in Dovolj za vse. Ena besedica na kratko o sami strukturi konference. V bistvu bo potekala konferenca v dveh delih. V prvem delu bomo predstavili kontekst današnje vsebine, energetske preobrazbe po meri ljudi. V drugem delu, po odmoru z podnebju prijazno pogostitvijo, pa bomo predstavili praktične primere lokalnih skupnosti. In zdaj vabim k besedi dr. Jonasa Sonnenscheina iz Umanotere, ki nas bo pozdravil v imenu organizatorja in nas hkrati uvedel v kontekst današnjega dogodka. Zakaj energetska preobrazba predstavlja enega ključnih izzivov današnjega časa in zakaj bo morala biti izvedena na način, da bo zagotovila tako energetsko preskrbljenost prebivalstva, kot naslovila vedno večje oziroma vroče, žgoče izzive podnebne oziroma okoljske krize. Izvoli.
Najlepša hvala. Ja, ime mi je Jonas Sonnenschein, jaz sem okoljski ekonomist pri Umanoteri, že zdaj skoraj 12 let. V veliko čast mi je, da lahko odprem že 9. nacionalno konferenco Dovolj za vse s naslovom Energetska preobrazba po meri ljudi. Šele pred 3 leti smo na naši letni konferenci že enkrat razpravljali o energetskih vprašanjih. Naslov takrat je bil Sončno elektrarno v vsako skupnost. Med gosti je bil tudi dr. Robert Golob, ki je takrat bil med službami, ni bil več predsednik uprave GEN-I-ja in še ni bil predsednik vlade, ampak zelo močno se je zavzemal za solarizacijo Slovenije. Še bolj pomembno pa je, da ste bili tam tudi mnogi izmed vas. Ali na spletu, ker je bilo to še v času covida, ali kot udeleženci okrogle mize. Zelo me veseli, da še niste obupali in da se še naprej zavzemate za trajnostne rešitve v skupnostih, tako kot mi že več kot 10 let. Zakaj smo torej ponovno smo se odločili za konferenco o vprašanjih povezanih z energetiko? Zato, ker smo na področju energije prišli do prelomne točke. Pravzaprav je ključnih sprememb, pozitivnih, tako kot negativnih, več. Če začnem, vsako leto začnem tako, v bistvu, začnem konferenco z informacijami o zastrovanju podnebne krize in tudi letos nas je narava pravočasno opomnila. Po požarih na Krasu in lanskih poplavah je bil letošnji avgust najbolj vroč mesec, ki smo jih kdajkoli zabeležili v Sloveniji. Ali ste to vedeli? Morda ne, saj so podnebni ekstremi postali nova normalnost. Predvčerajšnjem, ko sem se pripravljal na današnjo konferenco, je orkan Milton dosegel kopno na Floridi. To je posnetek, ki ga lahko vidite v ozadju. to je glih od tega trenutka. In je seveda samo simbolno. In vsi vemo o podnebnih spremembah, tako da ne bom več o tem zdaj govoril. Samo ne spreminja se samo podnebje. Druge spremembe konteksta, druga velika sprememba izhaja iz dejstva, da nedaleč od nas potekata dve vojni. In prva tača med vojno je pogosto velika centralizirana energetska infrastruktura. To je lahko plinovod, kot vidite desno gor, za uvoz zemeljskega plina iz Rusije, ali največja jedrska elektrana v Evropi. To je elektrana Zaporižje v Ukrajini, ki že 2 leti ne dela zaradi okupacije. Koncentracija energetske infrastrukture na enem mestu to infrastrukturo naredi zelo ranljivo. In kaj vidimo na levi strani, to je inflacija cene za stroške bivanja v Sloveniji, energetiko, plin in tako dalje, elektriko, plin in tako dalje. In te stroške so se po vojni po vsej Evropi zelo, zelo močno dvignili. Zdaj pa samo še ena negativna disrupcija, ki smo jo videli v zadnjem času, obljubim, in to so spremembe v politiki. Če pogledamo razvoj sončne energije v Sloveniji, vidimo, da imamo 2 obdobji strme rasti. Prvo obdobje je sopadalo s časom, ko se je za električno energijo iz obnovljivih virov plačevala fiksna odkupna cena, drugo pa shemo neto merjenja na letni ravni. In več o tem boste sigurno danes še slišali. Takojšnja ukinitev prvega je povzročila razpad trga, tam med leta 2012 in 2013. Zdaj se soočamo z ukinitvijo neto merjenja. Danes bomo potem slišali od govorcev, zakaj to ne bo ali ne bi smelo pomeniti konca skupnostnih energetskih projektov v Sloveniji, mogoče celo nasprotno. Ampak dovolj distopije, negativnih razvojev. Kaj so torej pozitivne disrupcije zadnjih let? Če najprej ostanemo na področju politike. Slovenija je letos po dolgih javnih polemikah dobila nov energetski zakon. Zakon določa, da bodo morale občine z več kot 10 tisoč prebivalci v svoj lokalni energetski koncept vključiti načrt za vzpostavitev vsaj ene energetske skupnosti na temelju obnovljivih virov. To bo zagotovo spodbudilo nove projekte po vsej državi. Razvoj obnovljivih virov energije je bil v zadnjih nekaj letih izjemno dinamičen. Jaz prihajam, kot slišite, iz Nemčije in ko sem odraščal, je bilo le nekaj 100 večjih elektran v državi, ki so proizvajale skoraj vso električno energijo. Danes je tam neverjetnih 3,8 milijon sončnih elektran in več kot 30 tisoč velikih vetrnih elektran. Samo leta 2023, lansko leto, je bilo v enem letu nameščenih več kot milijon novih sončnih elektran. Lastništvo elektroenergetskega sistema je z nekaj velikih podjetij, v bistvu so bili samo 4, prešlo na dobesedno milijone lastnikov. Koristi si delijo posamezna gospodinjstva, skupnosti, kmetje, mala in srednja velika podjetja, ter seveda še naprej nekaj velikih proizvajalcev. To je razvoj v 20 letih, ki vidite zadaj, iz manj kot 10%, v bistvu na začetku še 5% obnovljivih virov, smo zdaj letos v prvi polovici leta prišli na 60%. Takšen razvoj, ki smo videli ne samo v Nemčiji, v velikih državah okrog sveta, pomeni tudi demokratizacijo oskrbe z energijo. In to je bilo mogoče, ker so cene centralnih tehnologij v zadnjih letih močno padle, kot so vetrne, sončne baterije. Te nizke cene pomenijo tudi, da lahko najdemo načine, kako vsem omogočimo dostop do električne energije po dostopnih cenah. Energetska revščina je vse večji izziv, energetske skupnosti pa ponujajo način, da tudi ljudi, ki ne morejo vlagati v lastne vire proizvodne energije, dobijo dostop do koristi. Torej, tehnološki in gospodarski pogoji za energetske skupnosti so boljši kot kdajkoli prej. Tveganje pa predstavlja, kot rečeno, politika. Namesto, da bi se osredotočili na pomembne ukrepe, ki jih treba sprejeti zdaj, se zdi, da so trenutno vse oči obrnjene k novi jedrski elektrani, ki bi pomenila izjemno centraliziran razvoj in zagotovo manj pozornosti in sredstev za druge slovenske regije. Ta naša konferenca in vse delo, ki ga vsi vi odpravljate v svojih občinah in skupnostih, kažeta alternativno pot. Kažeta, da je decentralni razvoj mogoč in da nam ni treba čakati na megaprojekte, ki se morda nikoli ne bodo uresničili. Veliko je razloga za optimizem, ker imamo toliko virov, ki jih lahko skupaj uporabimo za pozitivne spremembe. Skupnosti imajo svoje naravne vire, obnovljive vire energije, sonce in veter, delujočo infrastrukturo, inštitucije ter ne nazadnje fantastične ljudi. S tem zaključim svoj kratek uvod in vam želim uspešno konferenco, nova spoznanja in prijetne pogovore ob odmori in tudi po zaključku konference.
Hvala, Jonas. In sledi prispevek, ki bo predvajan preko spleta, online, gospe Marije Santos, ki je vodja kampanj za skupnostno in obnovljivo energijo pri mednarodni mreži okoljskih organizacij Friends of the Earth, ki deluje v 76 državah po svetu, združuje okoli 5000 lokalnih aktivističnih skupin in okoli 2 milijona podpornikov. Predstavila nam bo moč skupnostnih energetskih projektov po Evropi in po svetu. Še ena pripomba oziroma povabilo, tam pri zadnji mizi na tej levi strani imamo tolmačko, tako da če ima kdo, evo je pomahala, če ima kdo težave oziroma bi se počutil bolj udobno in bolj poglobljeno lahko sledil predstavitvi, ga povabim, da se zdaj usede pač za tisto mizo zadaj, za simultano tolmačenje.
Okay, hello Maria, can you hear us?
Hello, yes, perfectly. Can you hear me over there?
Yes, I can hear you. So we just introduced you and we are very happy to have you with us. It's about 60, 70 people in the room. I think you can also see us. So we are very happy to hear and follow your presentation.
Perfect. Give me just a second to share my screen and start then. Here. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see you and hear you.
Perfect. Then, hi everybody. It's really, really great to be here virtually. I'm really sad that I cannot stand there in person, but I really want to start to thank the invitation. And I've been asked to present a little bit on the work we are doing and who am I, first of all. So my name is Maria. I am a campaigner for Friends of the Earth Europe, who, for those who don't know, we are a network of NGOs and grassroots movements across Europe, and I work at the European office, so I am based in Brussels. And I campaign on community energy and renewables. And beside that, I also have this role of coordinating the European Community Power Coalition, which is a network that I will present a little bit later. And I think it's worth to mention that I'm also a proud member of 2 energy cooperatives, one in Portugal, where I'm from, called Podporni, and one called Brew Power in Brussels, where I'm based. So I was thinking about this presentation, I thought there would be an interesting reflection to share with you of why did Friends of the Earth Europe, a campaigning organization, decided to work on this topic, on energy communities, on community power, and why citizen involvement in the energy system was important for us. And I had the privilege to actually hear this story this week, so I thought I would share with you. So it all started around 2011 when there was a big win over in Europe with the European climate law being made into the European law. And so at the time, Friends of the Earth were thinking, oh, what should be our next big thing? What should we campaign next? And during what we call a network gathering. So as I said, we are a network of several member groups, organizations in Europe, including in Slovenia, actually. We have a member called Focus there. So I'm not sure if there is any Focus people in the room, but hi. So at the time, they were asking themselves, what should be the next thing? And they decided to invite Dirk van Gistan, who is currently the president of Rescoop and president of EcoPower, one of the oldest cooperatives in Europe, based in Belgium. And they invited him to tell the story of what is an energy community, what are the energy communities, what is this new topic. And they were very inspired to hear about this new thing. Also, Dirk is a fantastic storyteller. So hearing about the story really made sense for this to be the next big thing. And why? Well, because energy communities and people getting together, it's about collaboration. It's about people coming together around this, around the energy, and really fulfilling not their own needs, but the needs of a community. So it's also about cooperation. It's transformative because it wasn't just about energy in the end. So energy, of course, plays a big role, but it was a different way to organize themselves in society. So people organizing differently. And it was also a subtle way to resist corporate power. If you are at all familiar with Friends of the Earth, this is a very important value we have in our DNA, in our system. So it was about people reclaiming power in their own hands away from big corporations. And because of this transformative potential, and because we are also very much moved by a systemic change approach into our campaigning, we thought this is the next big thing. And it was this, so this was important for us, but also because of the benefits that would bring to society beyond the obvious climate and energy action, because we needed to accelerate renewables at the time, and energy communities have a role in accelerating the transition, especially tackling public acceptance of renewables, because if people actually receive the benefits, it's easier to accept that a wind turbine next to your community, or a solar, or having the solar panels in your home. So it's also a way to educate and tackle public acceptance. On the education and energy savings, there are some studies that suggest that members of energy communities reduce up to 17% in their energy use. And we know that it's not just about ramping up renewables. Energy savings also plays a big role in bringing down energy demands, and so also bringing down how much energy we're using, which is important to reach the climate targets. It's also about the economic returns for the people. Again, it's a way of taking the money out of the corporations of something that for us is also very important, because energy for us isn't a human good, it's a shared good, a common good, and therefore it shouldn't be profited relentlessly. And so this provided a very concrete way of putting the money back to local communities, back to the people. And also some studies suggest that if local renewable projects are owned by the local communities, they generate 2 to 8 times more return to the economy versus if the project is built by external developers. And that helps also create the local jobs. It's, as I mentioned, it's a way of people organizing differently. So that also strengthens local cohesion and reinforces democracy, because one of the main principles of energy cooperatives or energy communities is this principle of democratic ruling. So in a day and age where this is being even more threatened, I think this is a very good initiative to foster these principles into people. And also on the other social side, they also help tackle energy poverty. And because there's a big culture of solidarity amongst the members, and a big incentive to actually help the members and use the profits to the benefit of people. And EcoPower is a very, very good example of that. For example, the cooperative I mentioned at the beginning. So this is why we decided to work on this topic, because of all of the benefits it brings. And this segues into my next point, which is talking a little bit about the European Community Power Coalition. And so what is this? This is a network of more than, I think right now, more than 60 organizations across 20 countries. And we have this purpose of advocating for people's ownership, so citizen and community ownership of renewables. So this started more than 10 years ago. So the coalition was founded in 2013. Last year we celebrated our 10th year anniversary, and it started with a small number of organizations in a project that came together and decided to create this coalition to advocate for the right of people and communities to engage in the energy system and produce and sell and store their own renewable electricity. So right now we have about 60 members across 20 countries, and it's a very, very diverse coalition. We have energy cooperatives, we have networks of cities and local authorities, the renewable energy industry, legal experts, NGOs. It's really, really diverse. And yeah, so this is the common goal that unites us. And we also, I want to share, we have some interesting resources as well. Like we have our Community Energy Guidebook, which is one of the flagship publications of this network, which is a very comprehensive guidebook for people who want to start energy communities but don't really know how to start. And this provides several chapters to think about how to engage with your local community, what type of activities you could do. And I want to invite you to visit our website and check out it in 11 languages, maybe 12, I'm not sure anymore. And there's also a spin-off of this book, which is the Community Energy Guide, which is all about communication and mobilization of people. So these are two very interesting resources that I would recommend you take away from this session. But so I mentioned that we were campaigning for more than 10 years. But why did we decide to put this together? Because there was an understanding that we needed a EU law that put in the law of the European Union and then on the national level that would grant people the right to actually produce and store electricity and to make cooperatives and energy communities a big part of the energy transition. And so in 2014, some of the members, well, most of the members, but it was basically led by FOE and RASCO, PU, and Client Earth, we created a set of demands and definitions and rights, and we advocate a lot during the Clean Energy Package negotiations. So the Clean Energy Package was a package of legislation in 2015 that introduced the revision of the Renewable Energy Directive. And it was through a lot of effort and a lot of work of tireless people. Of course, I wasn't there at the time, but I know the people who were doing this work, and it was amazing. There was a lot of meeting with policymakers in Brussels. It was a lot of coordinating with national members to understand what actually we wanted, legislation that reflected the potential of these initiatives that were already happening in Europe, but there was no law to actually make them reality all over Europe. There was only some countries like Denmark and Germany and Belgium that had these initiatives, but then we wanted the legislation to actually say, like, you have the right to do this, and this is important for the energy transition. And we got it, so we got it in the Renewable Energy Directive 2, in the final agreement in 2019. And so for now, this is one of the big accomplishments of this coalition. So the RED 2 guarantees the rights for people, local authorities, and small medium enterprises to produce, consume, store, and sell their own renewable energy for the first time at the EU level. So now people have these guarantees that they can invest and benefit from the transition, and it is a European right. So it is very important to mention this, because it is your right as a European citizen to engage in this, to be able to participate in the energy transition and the energy system. And so this was a very important document and piece of legislation that would guarantee that. So it's really important to emphasize it because it's a right. And we as campaigners, we want people to actually access their rights. So governments have the rights, need to ensure that citizens access these rights. So with this piece of legislation, energy communities actually became a big cornerstone of the European strategy for the transition, the energy transition and the climate transition. And the RED and actually the Internal Market Design Directive. I'm sorry if these terms are very confusing, but these two pieces of legislation were the first big thing to actually put energy communities in the radar of of people and national policymakers. Excuse me. And so now it is a big piece of strategy to actually accelerate the energy transition. And so this was what happened in 2018 and 2019. But then after that, the term gained momentum. And so today at the EU level, we have other directives that were passed this past year under the Green Deal files that mention energy communities and are very important for energy communities. So you could see the importance that the European Commission gives to the role of energy communities in the transition, and not just on the energy side of things, but also on the social side of things. So the We have now the Social Climate Fund, which is a big thing that's coming. And energy communities are listed as one of the beneficiaries because they are also recognized by the Commission as having an important role in alleviating energy poverty and addressing this more social side. So in Europe, this is what's happening now, but now we have a new Commission, and the new energy commissioner is Dan Jorgensen from Denmark, and with the announcement of the commissioner, it came also the announcement of the citizens' energy package. So I mentioned the clean energy package. Now we have the citizens' energy package, which it came as a pleasant surprise for us here at the EU, and I'm sure, well, for us who accompany here the EU level developments. I will not go over what's in the mission letter, but we caught that the citizens' energy package is the most important for us as a movement of energy communities and people engagement in the energy system. And we also found that the nomination of a commissioner from Denmark is very interesting because in Denmark was one of the first places where this energy community started, especially on the heating and cooling sector. So there's a big history and cultural attachment from the Danish to this concept because there's a lot, most of the heating and cooling are for cooperatives are there. And so we also found it an interesting way to play at his culture and history with this concept. So it is an interesting choice. But the citizen energy package, what is it in the end? We're still also not sure. It's a very new thing. It's a thing that's still in development here in the EU level, which will be relevant to the national level for sure. But we still are unsure how this new package builds from the previous legislative package. If there's any legislative proposals, we are still not sure. But we are sure that it's going to be a very influential plan on the energy community and the citizen engagement part, because the Commission also says that it's paying a lot of attention on like getting people involved in the energy transition. So it's clearly a cornerstone of the strategy and where we move forward in terms of the transition. But yes, this is not without challenges. I also wanted to reflect a little bit on the challenges, but if you want to learn more about the developments of the Citizens Energy Package, we are sure you can follow the European Community Coalition and the website. We are sure going to publish some position papers on the matter and provide more information as we get it. But I also wanted to reflect a little bit of the challenges we have in this campaigning work. I didn't want to go so much into the details of the challenges that communities face right now. I think it would be more interesting to bring you a little bit of more of campaigning challenges in our side, because I'm assuming, maybe if you don't know, maybe in the rest of the conference it will be talked about, but there's issues with the legal frameworks and the legal definitions in Europe still. Access to finance is a big problem yet, which we also work a lot on the EU level. The technical support, the fact that we have to compete with big energy markets and energy communities are such a small player with no competing resources and access to grid in some countries. So we have a lot of these challenges happening, but I feel like it would be interesting to bring this reflection on us campaigners that are trying to make this moving forward that we face today. And the first one is about the narrative. So right now, the narrative in Europe is all about security and competition and the industry, and we are still unsure where do we fit into this narrative. So because, of course, competition is a very, it contradicts with the elements of collaboration and cooperatives, and we would want to foster collaboration rather than competition, so we are still unsure where we fit into all of this. Of course, there's an argument to be made on the security element of it, of like gaining independence from other market actors, but we still have to have a conversation as a movement of where we fit into all of this. And the fact that, well, as I mentioned, for our vision of energy communities is all about people's power and people empowerment, and which constructs with the Commission's narrative that's very much anchored in consumer policy. And so this consumer versus citizens and people's empowerment is still something we need to grasp with, because our vision as campaigners and as the movement is that this is something for the people, by the people. that people have the right to have independence from big corporations, and that energy is a human right. But then the Commission has this consumer policy that it's still very market-based kind of approach. So we still need to work a little bit on that. On the corporate capture side, so companies started to understand that there's a lot of money to be made from this concept, and we are seeing across Europe companies co-opting the term for their own profit and their own gains. So also to clarify, an energy community, one of their big values and drivers is that it's not for profit. It's something that's for the benefit of the community, and so the profit aspect of it, is not supposed to be one of the goals of these initiatives, which again, against a big energy corporation, what motivates them and drives them is the profit. And so we have now some cases in Europe, for example, in Portugal, where companies say they are doing energy communities, but they are actually not. So kind of appropriating the language to have more people coming into their schemes. In Spain, we have an issue of subsidiaries of big companies that got a hold of funds that were supposed to go to actually energy communities. So this is a problem we are looking at right now. Also, we Friends of the Earth are working on a report about this and lack of data. So we as the movement, we know that we have a lot of initiatives happening here in Europe. The European Union estimates about 9,000 energy communities across Europe, but you have RASCOP that has more than 1,000, represents more than 2 million citizens in the energy cooperatives. So there's still not a lot of certainty of like the number of energy communities or the quantified benefits that they bring, because mostly we rely on anecdotal evidence. So for us as a movement, it's important to have this data, have this clarity, because when we talk to policymakers and also in the national level, to showcase that this is more than just, well, has someone put recently more than hippies just doing energy activities. No, it's actually, you have a lot of cooperatives who right now have a very high level of professionalization, and you have others not so mature, but there's really a big movement, very diverse in terms of maturity of their initiatives. And so for us, to policymakers, it's important to showcase that, again, it's not just the hippies, this is actually something important for the energy transition, and that the energy transition will not be only driven by corporations, that actually people have a role to play and a big impact. So these are the challenges we are grappling here today, and I'm almost finishing. Just to end this all on the inspiring and positive notes, which is, it's really clear for us that the energy revolution is happening. So what started as a very niche concept in the 80s and the 90s, where some cooperatives existed in Germany and in Belgium and Denmark, now there's a big lively movement across all Europe, from Greece, in Portugal, Spain, so the Mediterranean countries. The Balkans still have a little bit of a trouble to kickstarting, but there's a lot of will and a lot of campaigners driven to bring this to the people to actually benefit from the transition. So it is happening at the moment, and it's on us to make it a little bit more visible. And also to reflect on this note that we have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reshape the energy system in a way that is probably not going to come, at least in our lifetime, so soon or in our lifetime. I'm really certain of that. So it's right now is the moment to actually shape what we want from an energy system that truly serves the people, and that is more fair, more just, and it's driven by the people, for the people, not just in the hands of big corporations, and that people actually benefit from the energy transition. And I also just wanted to end like in a note of something that's driving us internally at Friends of the Earth, which is to make energy communities common sense. Our big goal in terms of our communications approach and our work is to try to make people, policymakers, everyone associate the energy transition to people, to energy communities, so that when you think of the energy system, the energy transition, you think about people also doing this for, also engaging in the energy transition. So that when you ask about someone, what's the energy transition, you don't just think like big solar projects in the middle of nowhere that you have to destroy a lot of trees. No, you actually think of people investing together, coming together, deciding together where their energy comes from and what to do with the benefits that they get from that energy. So I hope I leave you with some good reflections and a good segue for the rest of the event. So thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask now and also to get in touch with me. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Marija. In zdaj je nekaj časa za vaše vprašanja. Mogoče kakšno mnenje. Vas res toplo spodbujam, da izkoristimo to priložnost. Ja, evo, tukaj imamo mikrofon, Gaja ga bo podajala. Lahko v angleščini, lahko tudi v slovenščini, pa bo tolmačka pomagala.
Just one question about microgrid independent distribution networks. Against monopoly we are facing at the present, especially in Slovenia.
Well, that's a very technical question. So we are not working so much on the grid element of it, but we have been receiving a lot of information that there's also big, the DSOs, the distribution system operators, have been very pushing against energy communities and the connection to the grids. So it's not just in Slovenia, there's a lot of issues as well. Actually in Belgium, in Spain, grid connection is really, really big hot topic where DSOs don't really want to give authorization because it will increase the complexity of the system. But I'm not entirely sure about very specific cases in Slovenia, but yeah, I don't know if there was another more specific question on that.
Boste še dopolnili vprašanje, oziroma bolj specifično?
We know some cases of microgrid independent community networks in United States. There is free market about that.
Ja, okay.
Oh, okay.
Ja. Okay. Še kakšno vprašanje? Hvala. Še kakšno vprašanje ali pa mnenje? Ne? Potem pa gremo naprej. So thank you, Marija. We are continuing with our conference. In vabim dr. Tomislava Tkalca, ki je vodja sektorja za obnovljive vire energije na Ministrstvu za okolje, podnebje in energijo, ki nam bo predstavil posodobljen zakonodajni okvir za energetske skupnosti. Izvolite.
Začni, bom jaz. Ponavadi je to. Tukaj, okay. Če mora biti neki view. Ti začni, bom jaz.
Lepo pozdravljeni. Moje ime je Tomislav Tkalec, torej iz Ministrstva za okolje, podnebje in energijo. Ena krajša predstavitev na temo skupnosti, skupnostne samooskrbe, skupnosti OVE. Okay.
Se povečujem.
Nek čuden programček, ampak ok, bomo že speljali. Evo ga. Torej, na kratko, en suhoparn uvod glede zakonodaje. Rešeno. Torej, v slovenski zakonodaji imamo opredeljene 3 termine vezane na skupnosti oziroma skupnosti z področja energije. Torej, zakon o spodbujanju rabe obnovljivih virov energije opredeljuje termin skupnosti na področju OVE, ki je pravna oseba, dejansko je povzeto po Evropski direktivi o obnovljivih virih energije. Zakon o oskrbi z električno energijo opredeljuje energetske skupnosti državljanov, je tudi bolj kot ne povzeto po direktivi o notranjem trgu električne energije. Dodatno pa imamo opredeljeno tudi skupnostno samooskrbo, tako v ZSR-OVE zakonu, kot potem v sami uredbi o samooskrbi. Torej imamo neke različne možnosti izvedbe projektov. Največ potencijala se seveda vidi in pričakuje v skupnostni samooskrbi, ki je lahko izvedena tako kot skupnost OVE, ki je pravna oseba, ali pa na kakšne druge načine, torej na podlagi pogodbe. Smo pa, kot je tudi Jonas že prej povedal, pri nas v primerjavi z nekaterimi drugimi državami nekoliko v ozadju. In je to področje, ki ga zagotovo moramo bolj razvijati, k čemur se je dejansko zavezalo tudi ministrstvo, in v zadnjih letih izvajamo precej ukrepov, od finančnih spodbud do komunikacijskih aktivnosti, ki poudarjajo vlogo skupnosti in promovirajo izvedbo skupnostnih projektov. Vezano na skupnostno samooskrbo smo trenutno v času veljavnosti oziroma izvajanja projektov po stari uredbi o samooskrbi in pa tudi po novi shemi o samooskrbi. Velika večina projektov se izvaja še po stari, ki ima določen čas veljavnosti, torej tisti, ki je vložil vlogo za soglasje za priključitev do 31.12.2023, je še lahko šel po tem sistemu, s tem, da mora izvesti projekt do konca tega leta. Zdaj v Državnem zboru je sprememba zakona o spodbujanju rabe obnovljivih virov energije, ki vključuje eno manjši popravek tega oziroma spremembo. Do zdaj je bilo treba biti registriran do konca tega leta. V tem predlogu pa je, da mora biti elektrarna postavljena in vložena vloga za priključitev. Sama priključitev oziroma pogodba o uporabi sistema je pa lahko tudi prihodnje leto. Zakaj do tega prišlo? Delno zaradi zamud pri izdaji vlog za soglasje za priključitev, delno pa tudi seveda na izvedbeni ravni, ker se pričakuje, da proti koncu leta se bo izvajalo zelo veliko projektov, vsi bojo proti koncu leta tudi vlagali vloge noter za priključitev in za pričakovati je, da distributerji tega seveda ne bojo zmogli obdelati v ustreznem času in da se izognemo tej situaciji, tudi ta predlagana sprememba. Torej, kot omenjeno, zakon je v Državnem zboru, potrjen bi mogel biti novembra. Torej, nova uredba o samooskrbi velja, seveda vključuje neke določene razlike glede na staro. Osnovna razlika je seveda, da ni letnega net meteringa, kar za samo omrežnino nam že itak direktiva OVE predpisuje. Za samo električno energijo pa dejansko ne, ampak je takšna odločitev bila sprejeta takrat pri sprejemu te uredbe, da časovnica netiranja ni določena, torej je stvar pogodbenega dogovora med uporabnikom in dobaviteljem in je lahko od 15 minut in nadalje. Razlika je tudi v tem, da ni več zamejitve glede skupnostne samooskrbe. Če je bila ta prej zamejena na eno trafo postajo, pa se sedaj lahko v projekte vključujejo uporabniki iz celotnega območja države oziroma vsi, ki so priključeni na distribucijsko omrežje. Jonas je že tudi prej omenil par sprememb, torej energetski zakon dvojka, ki je bil letos sprejet, vključuje določbe glede zahtev za lokalne skupnosti nad 10.000 prebivalci, ki se morajo iti skupnost OVE oziroma morajo vsaj spostaviti načrt za vzpostavitev ene skupnosti OVE. Ni vezano na električno energijo, lahko je tudi na toploto iz OVE, tako da ta zadeva se ni zamejila, morajo pa to zadevo vključiti v svoje lokalne energetske koncepte. ZUMPE-OVE zakon, torej zakon o uvajanju naprav za proizvajanje električne energije iz obnovljivih virov, ki je bil sprejet lani, je tudi vključeval dve določbi, na kak način vsaj nekoliko olajšati izvedbo teh projektov. Eno je vezano na potrebno soglasje v stavbah z večetažno lastnino, eno pa glede možnosti brezplačne služnosti na javnih strehah za skupnostno samooskrbo. Letos, julija 2024, to še velja omeniti, je bil pripravljen in potem tudi potrjen sklep vlade, ki je nekoliko mehko zapisan, ker ni bilo drugačne zakonske podlage, in sicer da vlada predlaga, da SDH, torej Slovenski državni holding, Slovenskim železnicam in njenim odvisnim družbam, da jih pozove, da pripravijo in izvedejo javni poziv za sklenitev služnosti oziroma pogodbe glede stavbne pravice z izvajalcem, ki se bo na ta razpis prijavil za izvedbo skupnostnih oziroma projektov sončnih elektrarn, skupnostne samooskrbe za gospodinjstva. Torej, imeli smo prejšnji mesec že širši sestanek z MZI-jem in Slovenskimi železnicami, tako da predvidoma v naslednjih 2 tednih bo naslednji sestanek, da vidimo, kakšen je bil napredek na tem področju. Upamo seveda, da bo prišlo dejansko tudi do izvedbe teh projektov. Mogoče sam na kratko glede števila, zdaj tole je vezano na skupnostno samooskrbo in število je zgor do konca leta 2023, torej v sistemu oziroma na omrežju je bilo 187 projektov skupnostne samooskrbe, gre zgolj za sončne elektrarne. Treba je poudariti seveda, da tu upoštev pridejo tudi manjše skupnostne samooskrbe, kjer gre, ne vem, za dvodružinsko hišo z 2 števcema in se je na ta način tudi določene projekte izvajalo. Ampak kaže pa recimo ta dinamika števila po letih nek napredek, torej da se nekaj na tem področju dogaja, še večji napredek bomo videli pa upamo, da še v prihodnjih letih, predvsem zaradi tega, ker smo začeli segmentirati, kar se finančnih ukrepov tiče oziroma spodbud, da se ponujajo višje subvencije za skupnostne projekte. Pri določenih razpisih gre seveda to za skupnostno samooskrbo, naložbena pomoč za OVE, pa ni striktno vezana na samooskrbo, ampak je vezana, da mora biti vzpostavljena skupnost OVE, ki je pravna oseba in na ta način se dobi višja subvencija. Tele 3 pozive oziroma razpise izvaja Borzen, ki jih je tudi treba pohvaliti v zadnjem času, zato ker so dobili kar težko nalogo zelo hitre implementacije in izvedbe številnih novih pozivov na področju OVE in tudi na področju e-mobilnosti in zaenkrat zadeve potekajo precej uspešno in učinkovito. Sploh na naložbeni pomoči smo imeli problem, da je v bistvu že v 2 tednih skorajda zmanjkalo sredstev, ki so bila planirana za ta poziv. Torej, odprta je poziv za naložbeno pomoč za OVE, ki ne vključuje zgolj sončne elektrarne, ampak tudi vetrne in tudi proizvodnjo toplote in hladu iz obnovljivih virov energije. Odprta sta še 2 poziva, oba druga sta za fizične osebe, torej za staro samooskrbo in pa za novo samooskrbo. Pri obeh je oziroma pri novi smo segmentirali, da imajo skupnosti 50 € na kilovat višjo subvencijo. Na Ministrstvu za okolje, podnebje in energijo imamo pa še dodatni razpis oziroma poziv sončne elektrarne na javnih stavbah in parkiriščih. Ta je financiran iz načrta za okrevanje in odpornost. Tudi je prispelo veliko prijav, veliko je dela s temi prijavami, kar sodelavci tamle iz enega od omizij. Na voljo bo 48 milijonov evrov, 2 poziva sta že bila, oziroma 2 roka sta že bila odprta, še en rok bo 10. februarja 2025. Upravičene so občine, gre za zelo visoko subvencioniranje teh projektov, zato je tudi omejitev glede tega, kdo je lahko vključen v te skupnosti oziroma skupnostno samooskrbo in gre bolj kot ne zgolj za občinska merilna mesta, občinske zavode in pa druge javne zavode, javne sklade, javne agencije. Ne morejo se pa not vključevati občinska podjetja, ker bi šlo za državno pomoč. Zato je prišlo mogoče včasih tudi do nerazumevanja, ampak kakorkoli že, sredstva so še na voljo, torej en rok je še predviden in upamo seveda, da se bodo ta sredstva porabila. Kar se načrtuje v prihodnje, Pri kohezijskih sredstvih imamo predvidenih precej nekih ukrepov vezanih na obnovljive vire energije. Izpostavil sem tukaj sam dva, ki sta bolj vezana na skupnosti, torej spodbude daljinskih sistemov na OVE, kjer seveda upoštev pridejo tudi skupnostni projekti, tudi zadružni in podobno. Spodbujanje lokalnih energetskih skupnosti, tukaj sedaj pripravljamo razpis za skupnostno, torej za izvajalce, ki bodo izvajali projekte skupnostne samooskrbe z večinskim deležem gospodinjstev vključenih v te projekte. Ta razpis bi moral biti pripravljen do konca leta, upamo tudi, da nam bo to uspelo. Naslednje leto pa začnemo tudi z spodbudami energetskim skupnosti na obnovljivih virih energije preko švicarskega mehanizma, kjer smo tudi zagotovili dodatna sredstva za to področje. Bodo pa tu projekti oziroma usmeritev teh projektov nekoliko bolj specificirani. Verjetno bo šlo za javne univerze, fakultete in pa srednje šole, da tudi tem akterjem nekako omogočimo vključitev na to področje. Tema energetske revščine je bila tudi izpostavljena v sklopu v bistvu obeh predstavitev prej. Tudi na tem področju se dela, torej v akcijskem programu za zmanjševanje energetske revščine je vključen ukrep sodelovanja v energetskih skupnosti. V izvedbo tega ukrepa se bo tudi predvidoma šlo v prvi polovici leta 2025, torej sredstva specifično namenjena za vključevanje energetsko revnih oziroma gospodinjstev, ki se soočajo z energetsko revščino v skupnosti OVE. Čeprav MOPE ni imel nič z projektom skupnostne zadružne sončne elektrarne v Hrastniku, je pa vseeno ta projekt bil izveden delno tudi skozi projekt Care for Climate, ki pa ga koordinira MOPE. Zelo radi pohvalimo ta projekt, vedno ga izpostavljamo kot primer dobre prakse. V zadnjem času smo tudi zelo ukrepili, sploh kar se tiče pogovorov z raznimi potencialnimi investitorji v OVE, kjer se nekateri od njih srečujejo tudi seveda z določenim nasprotovanjem znotraj lokalnih skupnosti, da naj se ti projekti izvajajo skupnostno. To ne pomeni, da mora iti nujno za skupnostno samooskrbo, ampak da lahko gre tudi na kakšne druge načine vključevanje skupnosti, torej razno mikrokreditiranje, mikrofinanciranje in pa vključevanje na druge načine, zadružni projekti in podobno. Le tako vidimo, da lahko presekamo ta gordijski vozel, ki se nam je vzpostavil, sploh na področju vetra. Torej na nek način bo treba tudi iz tega finančnega vidika vključevati skupnost, lokalne prebivalce in pa občino. V pripravi, vendar bi že mogel biti pripravljen omogočitveni program na področju skupnosti OVE. O tem bo tekla tudi potem debata v sklopu naknadnega kosila, kolikor sem razumel. Torej, zaradi tega, ker smo dobili takšno časovnico pri prenosu nove direktive OVE, je tale stvar morala malo počakati, ampak pride takoj zatem na vrsto. Torej, moramo pripraviti omogočitveni program, ki vključuje oceno ovir, oceno možnosti za razvoj skupnosti OVE in pa predvidi neke ukrepe, kako še izboljšati to področje. Seveda imamo tudi sami identificirane določene ovire, nekaj jih je na naši strani, nekaj jih je na strani investitorjev, nekaj tudi nekje drugje. Poskušamo jih naslavljati, je pa res, da vse težko naslovimo skozi pozicijo ministrstva, določene zadeve se razrešujejo tudi drugje in v bistvu brez projektov, kot je Hrastnik, kjer se je dejansko razvijalo znanje, in pa omeniti moram tudi Goleo, seveda, ki je razvijala projekte tako v Kopru kot v Kanalu ob Soči in še kje drugje na temo skupnosti OVE. Brez teh izvajanj v praksi je zelo težko, če ministrstvo ne dobi tega inputa, na kak način se kaj izvaja, kje se vse pojavljajo ovire, je potem nekako težko iskati tudi rešitve zanje. Tako da spodbujamo izvajanje projektov na tej ravni, spodbujamo komunikacijo z nami, tudi z drugimi deležniki, zato da lahko čim bolj izboljšamo možnost izvedbe teh projektov v prihodnje. Tako, hvala za vašo pozornost. To je to.
Hvala. Vprašanja? Evo, tukaj Gaja. Potem pa.
Živijo, mene pa sam zanima, iz kje prihaja odločitev, da je netiranje oziroma da je obdobje netiranja zdaj dogovor med dobaviteljem in uporabnikom. Se vam ne zdi, da tako dajemo spet moč dobaviteljev, ki se potem odločajo, po katerih pogojih se integrirajo skupnosti v prostor?
Ja, ne vem, odkje izvira to, ker me takrat še ni bilo na ministrstvu. Dejstvo je, da smo dali v javno obravnavo spremembo uredbe s predlogom, da se za skupnosti OVE določi minimalno časovno obdobje 1 mesec, ampak potem je naknadno bila sprejeta odločitev, da zaenkrat še ne gremo v to, da bi radi videli, kaj se bo vzpostavilo v praksi in na kakšen način, in da ne bi že v tem trenutku zdefinirali tega, zato ker po eni strani je bilo zelo veliko inputa, da je to potrebno narediti, po drugi strani je bilo pa tudi zelo veliko inputa, da bo pa to zablokiralo projekte in da ne bo podpisal pogodbe na ta način z dobaviteljem. Tako da zaenkrat je puščeno tako, kot je.
Okay, hvala. Ja, tlele gospod prosil za besedo.
Se popolnoma strinjam s predhodnikom, ko govorite o prostem trgu v Sloveniji nemogoče. Imamo 2 stebra, kjer se velike državna podjetja med seboj dogovorijo in v bistvu je samo, ko dobiš pogodbo, vzemi ali pusti in se prodajo viške po 25 € in kupuje manjke po 130 in tu padajo projekti, skupnostni projekti padajo. Kar bi pa vprašal je to, imam informacijo, da naj bi v novembru Ministrstvo za okolje, podnebje in energijo objavilo javni razpis za energetske skupnosti, vendar za dobavitelje, da bodo prijavitelji, dobavitelji, spet velika državna podjetja, ki bodo ustanavljala virtualne skupnosti, ne pa za zadruge. Kaj je na temu?
Hvala za vprašanje. Ne bo tak razpis, torej prijavila se bo lahko pravna oseba, ki bo izvedla ta projekt. Absolutno ne bo zamejeno na dobavitelje, zadruge imamo v mislih, tako da upamo, da bo precej in veliko tudi zadružnih projektov. Ne bo pa zamejeno samo na zadruge, torej različne pravne osebe, vključno z zadrugami in res si želimo precej takih projektov.
Okay, hvala. Še kakšno vprašanje? Tukaj imamo še. Samo da preverimo, če še kdo drug, da damo še komu drugmu priložnost. Aha, tam je ena gospa. A se zelo navezuje, tako da nadaljujemo? Aha, pa ga je, dajmo tukaj tole vzeti na hitro, potem pa
ja,
gospa.
Bi se s tem navezal na gospoda, da dokler obstaja samo finančni net metering kot edina možnost, je to za gospodinjske odjemalce zelo inherentno slaba možnost, ker kot vemo, vsi pridemo domov šele popoldne, ko se sonce počasi ogaša. Torej v bistvu dajemo samo skupne investicije v prid dobaviteljem v sam prostor slovenski. Tako da se mi zdi, da dokler bo ta zamejitev finančnega net meteringa in ne dejanskega netiranja sončne energije, se stvar ne bo dobro integrirala v prostor in tudi ne bo pravična do vseh fizičnih oseb.
Če bi se navezal na to, torej z druge strani pa dobivamo pobude po rešitvi problema starega net meteringa, ki za vsakega dobavitelja, kolikor so nam sporočili v dopisu, predstavlja minimalno 300 € minusa na leto v povprečju. In na kak način reši zdaj to zadevo. Tako da zavedamo se problemov, ampak se jih zavedamo na obeh straneh. Kakšna bo rešitev v tem trenutku, ne znam povedati. Sam zakon o spodbujanju rabe, da še to omenim, torej smo sredi prenosa direktive nove, torej 2 zakona smo že dali v parlament, spremembe 2 zakonov, ZUMPE OVE in ZSR OVE. ZUMPE OVE bi naj bil sprejet ta mesec, spremembe ZSR OVE naslednji mesec, ker je direktiva vključevala 2 različni časovnici. In prva časovnica je že pretekla, 1.7.2024 za prenos, mislim, da je 10 različnih členov, kar je bil manjši del direktive, to prenašamo zdaj. Zelo kmalu bo šlo v javno obravnavo še naslednje spremembe ZUMPE OVE in pa glede na to, da bo tako veliko sprememb, še nov zakon o spodbujanju rabe obnovljivih virov energije, približno v polovici prihodnjega meseca, tako da bomo videli, kaj in kako, tudi javna razprava bo seveda za oba dva in vse spodbujamo, da podajo seveda dobrodošle, argumentirane komentarje.
Ok, hvala. Ja, tam zadaj ena gospa, lahko še enkrat pomahate, ja. Izvolite.
Hvala. Jaz bi pa vprašala, prej ste omenil glede pogojev za te projekte, ki so zdaj v izvedbi na tem vašem razpisu, net metering do konca leta, da ne bo potrebno oziroma izgrajena, mora biti sončna elektrarna, vloga pa samo oddana na elektro, če sem prav razumela. Pogodba o priključevanju se bo pa lahko sklepala naslednjo leto. A je to že potrjeno, sprejeto ali kakšen še v fazi dogovora? To bi vprašala, pa še zdaj glede te višine, ste rekel, da je zelo visoko sofinancirano. Samo cene so bile pač na trgu tako visoke, da mislim, da je to komaj 50% sofinanciranja. Omejitev je 730 € na kilovatno uro, cene za izgradnje so pa 1500, 2000.
Ok, hvala.
Hvala. Glede prvega vprašanja, torej ni še potrjeno, ZSR OVE je trenutno v državnem zboru in je novembra na agendi in bi novembra tudi moral biti sprejet, ker gre za skrajšani postopek, tako da takrat bo pa formalno tudi potrjeno to. Tako da zaenkrat je predlog, pri tem delu ne pričakujemo večjih problemov, ker dejansko je širše strinjanje, da je to smiselno narediti, zato da ne ustvarjamo novih problemov, predvsem zaradi zamud, ki bi lahko nastale. Kar se drugega tiče, so pa naše informacije nekoliko drugačne glede same cene na kilovat, torej po kakšnih cenah se sončne elektrarne postavljajo in v skladu s temi informacijami, ki jih imamo, smo ocenili, da je takšen razpis za občine, v bistvu takole bom rekel, če ne bi bilo zapisano v načrtu za okrevanje in odpornost, da je treba izvesti na tak način, bi zagotovo dali nižje subvencije, ker so zelo, zelo visoke in takšnih verjetno ne bo več.
Hvala.
A lahko sam še eno konkretno vprašanje, če boste mogoče vedel, jaz sem sicer že na Borzen vprašala, ampak to je le vaš razpis, ali je potrebna glede na pogoje, bom tako rekla, označevalna tabla po vaših pravilih na gradbiščih ali ne?
Absolutno ne bi vedel odgovora na to vprašanje, se upravičujem.
Hvala. Mogoče med odmorom, ko ga najdete, ki bo vam lahko pomagal. Še kakšno vprašanje? Če ne, pa kar pohitimo naprej in vabim k zadnjemu prispevku pred odmorom gospod Iztok Gornjak iz Borzena, ki je vodja službe za obnovljive vire energije, nam bo predstavil Borzenovo kontaktno točko za spodbujanje rabe obnovljive energije.
Lep pozdrav še z moje strani, tako sem že bil predstavljen. Moje ime je Iztok Gornjak, prihajam iz podjetja Borzen, tu sem zaposlen že več kot 10 let. Danes vam bom predstavil dve zadevi, dve aktivnosti oziroma dve službi, kateri je Borzen začel vzpostavljati, bom rekel, v prejšnjem letu, so med sabo zelo prepletajo. To je služba, bom rekel, kontaktne točke za spodbujanje OVE in pa služba za podeljevanje investicijskih spodbud. Obe službi spadate v področje energetskih in podnebnih mehanizmov. Tukaj noče imamo potem službo Centra za podpore in pa službo za informiranje in zaveščanje o spodbujanju OVE in URE. Sam sem pa pomočnik direktorja tega področja. Mogoče na začetku nekaj besed o podjetju Borzen. Eni, da poznate, eni ne, verjamem, da v zadnjem letu ste ga že skoraj vsi spoznali. Je gospodarska javna služba, 100% v lasti države, obstaja od leta 2001. Ima dve glavni temeljni dejavnosti. Ena je ta operater trga z električno energijo. To prikazujejo tile modri kvadratki, pa imamo tile zelene kvadratke, kot sem že omenil, področje energetskih in podnebnih mehanizmov. Tukaj noter so pa zapakirane te 4 službe. Mogoče bi tukaj samo omenil, da Borzen iz preteklosti od leta 2009 ima izkušnje z področja obnovljivih virov. Saj z strani podporne sheme je bilo tukaj podeljenih že več kot 1,5 milijarde evrov nepovratnih sredstev. Če gremo zdaj na to kontaktno točko, mogoče na začetku, zakaj sploh kontaktna točka. Tega si nismo zmislili na Borzenu, vse skupaj izhaja iz Evropske direktive iz leta 2018, ker je pač zapisano, da vsaka država članica to v svoji državi pač mora ustanoviti. Slovenija to pol prišla v letu 2021 z ZSR OVE, 2022 je bila sprejeta še uredba, v letošnjem letu smo pa še sprejeli tudi navodila o delovanju kontaktne točke. Tukaj so ti povzetki 51. člena, kaj je tu pomembnega, bom rekel, pač da tukaj sodelujemo z lokalnimi energetskimi agencijami, z vsemi 7 imamo sklenjeno konzorcijsko pogodbo in so pač neka podaljšana roka Borzena na terenu. Tukaj vidite, kdo so uporabniki, vsi končni odjemalci ali proizvajalci električne energije. Gre za fizične in pravne osebe, kaj tukaj dobijo pa informacije, pomoč in usmerjanje pri različnih postopkih v OVE, kakor tudi pri Borzenovih subvencijah. Tukaj je pač ta schema, koliko pač kontaktno točko vozimo na Borzenu. Imamo 4 glavne sklope. Prvi sklop so svetovalne aktivnosti in svetovalna mreža. Tukaj lahko povem, da smo v letošnjem letu vzpostavili 30 svetovalnih pisarn po celotni Sloveniji, v vseh večjih krajih, tudi manjših. Druga aktivnost tukaj je izvedba teh svetovanj po svetovalnih pisarnah. Tukaj imamo trenutno 44 teh svetovalcev. Ti svetovalci so zaposleni na lokalnih energetskih agencijah ali da so svetovalci mreže En svet, poleg tega pa naredijo z naše strani strokovno izobraževanje, usposabljanje, da lahko tukaj svetujejo z tega področja. Potem imamo tukaj zapakirano tudi nudenje pomoči vlagateljem preko telefona in e-pošte. Z septembrom smo pa ustanovili tudi kontaktni center, to je bil nujno pač potreben, glede na to, kjer aktivnosti je pač v letošnjem letu Borzen dobo. Če vam povem, da tukaj v septembru smo imeli čez 2000 klicov, pa čez 500 mailov, pa vidite, da je to bilo nujno potrebno. Tukaj imamo 2 zaposlena, sam na telefonih cel dan. Drugi ta sklop so izobraževanja, svetovanja na dogodkih in delavnicah. Tukaj v prvi vrsti bi poudaril to izobraževanje svetovalcev in kontaktne točke. Tukaj zelo velik poudarek delamo na to. Tukaj vsako leto imajo 2-3-dnevno izobraževanje z teh novih področji, ki se pač prihajajo. Letos smo v sklopu kontaktne točke izvedli tudi več kot 30 delavnic po celotni Sloveniji. To so večje delavnice oziroma dogodki cirka 150 ljudi ali pa tudi manjši 20-30 ljudi po celotni Sloveniji. Hodimo tudi na sejme, dejansko smo bili na sejmu Dom in pa na sejmu MOS. Potem tukaj še tretji sklop kontaktne točke so digitalne platforme in strokovne vsebine. Tukaj smo vzpostavili portal kontaktne točke, kateri omogoča digitalno svetovanje. Pripravili smo seznam izvajalcev storitev OVE, tukaj je na seznamu več kot 100 slovenskih podjetij, ki si jih pač lahko filtrirate, odvisno kaj pač rabite, od dobave, opreme, montaže, zagon, strokovne študije, pravne osebe. Če tukaj, nekaj rabite z področja OVE, definitivno tukaj na tem seznamu najdete izvajalca. Tukaj imamo ta priročnik za pač postavitev manjših OVE naprav, katerega vsako leto obnavljamo oziroma posodabljamo. Pripravili smo tudi več strokovnih študij, pripravili smo tudi seznam proizvodnih naprav na OVE. Tukaj imamo cirka 10 000 sklopov tipov naprav različnih proizvodnih teh naprav na OVE. Trenutno pa izvajamo aktivnosti pri izgradnji informacijskega sistema za izmenjavo podatkov. Tukaj dejansko bomo povezali vse deležnike, kateri imajo bilo kakšen vpliv na postavitev OVE projektov v Sloveniji, od občin, upravnih enot, distribucij, ministrstev, Borzen, Ekosklad, Agencija za energijo. Mislim, da je tukaj cirka 20 teh deležnikov noter. Pa še imamo pa tukaj zadnji ta sklop, to so organizacijske in strateške aktivnosti. Kot sem omenil, smo tukaj pripravili podrobna navodila. Ustanovljen je bil projektni svet, kontaktne točke, to je 12-člansko telo, noter so predstavniki različnih teh deležnikov inštitucij kateri pač je namen sodelovanja pri pripravi zakonodaje, katera vpliva na kontaktno točko. Mogoče, kaj bi še tukaj zdaj omenil, da pač vse, kar sem zdaj povedal, smo naredili v letošnjem letu. Lani takle čas še nismo imeli nič. Tukaj še druga schema te kontaktne točke na kak način poteka. Tukaj vidimo, da imamo investitorje, ki so lahko fizične osebe, pravne osebe. Tukaj na kontaktni točki dobijo brezplačno strokovno pomoč iz OVE teh tehnologij in sicer za upravna in druga dovoljenja in pa usmerjanje pri programih podpore, katere podeljuje Borzen. Tukaj še nekaj slikovnega gradiva. Tukaj naj omenim, da vse te zadeve v sklopu kontaktne točke so na Borzenovi spletni strani pod točko OVE. Tukaj je tudi, vidite, ta seznam pisarn, cirka 30 jih je v tem trenutku. Tudi na levi strani, pardon, na desni strani vidite ta seznam naprav na OVE, katerega si lahko filtrirate, potem tudi ti izvajalci storitev na OVE. In pa tukaj imate vse te študije, katere smo objavili v letošnjem letu, kot so skupnostna samooskrba, skupnostna samooskrba, ki je pravna oseba. Te dve študije je pripravila Goleja, ko ima tukaj, bom rekel, v Sloveniji zelo veliki izkušnji na tem področju. Tudi avtor je bil eden iz njih, gospod Leban. Kaj smo še pa tukaj pripravili? Pač postavitev sončnih elektrarn na objektih kulturne dediščine in pa agrofotovoltaika. Če grem še tukaj zdaj na drugi del, sicer podeljevanje investicijskih spodbud. Tukaj smo pospešeno se začeli s to aktivnosti, bom rekel, v koncu lanskega leta. Prvi ta poziv je bil OVE1, tukaj je šlo za pač upravičenci so vse pravne osebe, lokalne skupnosti, tukaj je bilo na voljo 125 milijonov, tukaj je 5 različnih sklopov. Sklop 1 je bil namenjen soncu, zelo hiter je bil zaprt, tukaj je bilo 42 milijonov, mislim, da je tukaj dobil 538 projektov odločbo, mislim pa, da je bilo skupaj moči za 138 mega sonca in pa za 63 megavatnih ur hranilnikov. Pa imamo še tukaj sklop 2, tudi zaprt veter, sklop 3 hidro, geotermija in pa bioplin je še odprt, sklop 4 SPT na lesno biomaso se še tudi možno prijaviti, sklop 5 je pa toplota, toplotne črpalke oziroma kotli na lesno biomaso, tukaj še zadeva odprta. Ja, posledično, ker se je pač, bom rekel, sklop 1 zaprl, smo tukaj odprli JPOVE2 za sklop 1, najprej smo tukaj imeli predvideno 90 milijonov, v prvem dnevu, ko smo zadevo odprli, smo dobili čez 1500 vlog. Tukaj smo še pol zadeve malo dodali zraven 20 milijonov, tako da v tem trenutku bi povedal, da smo tukaj dobili cirka 2300 vlog. Sredstva so še na voljo, tako da se prijavite. Tukaj smo obdelali v tem trenutku 1300 vlog od teh 2300. Če pa povem podatek, da od teh 1300 vlog je imel več kot 700 vlog dopolnitev, pa veste, kakve vloge dobivamo v hišo, tako da dejansko bi mi to vse shendlali bistveno hitreje, kot že shendlamo, če bi dobili v hišo neke normalne vloge, ne pa da vsaka, bom rekel, da od 3 vlog je ena ok. Tukaj so določene spremembe na OVE1, sicer dodaten podsklop 215 evrov. Za prostostoječe, za sončno je 180, hranilnik 225, pa še imamo tukaj 350 za parkirišča. 5 milijonov je pa tukaj namenjenih za skupnostne sončne elektrarne. Posledično, ker se tudi sklop 2 in sklop 5 zaprl, je že v prejšnjem tednu, v petek, v uradnem listu bil objavljen javni poziv za veter in toploto. Vloge bo možno oddati 21.10. preko spletne aplikacije, kakor tudi na vse te javne pozive od Borzena. Če pogledamo še fizične osebe, tukaj je bil prvi ta javni poziv SO1, tukaj je na voljo 14 milijonov, upravičenci fizične osebe, skupnostne samooskrbe in pa skupnostna samooskrba kot skupnost OVE. Višine so tukaj 50 na kilovat samo za sončno elektrarno in pa 500 kW za sončno z hranilnikom. Tukaj smo dobili cirka 8000 vlog, več kot 90% vlog pa je že dobili pozitivno odločbo. To je še ta drugi javni poziv za fizične osebe. Prvi je bil z letnim net meteringom, ta je pač na mesečnem nivoju, tukaj je 30 milijonov evrov, pogoji so upravičenci podobni, samo da se pač mora biti naložba zaključena in pa izvedena od ključno 1.1.14 dalje. Če pogledamo še tukaj višine pomoči, 250 za sončno brez hranilnika, 675 z hranilnikom, pa še imamo tukaj skupnostne elektrarne, sicer 300 evrov brez hranilnika in pa 725 pol kilovatov za sončno elektrarno z hranilnikom. Kaj bi tukaj omenil, da tukaj je dost manj vlog kot prej, kot sem jih omenil, 8000. S 1.10. smo še odprli en javni poziv, sicer za hranilnike električne energije za fizične osebe. Tukaj je na voljo 8 milijonov, investicije so izvedene po 1.1.24, možno je dobiti 275 evrov po kilovatni uri. Tukaj tudi vidimo določeno omejitev, največ dvakratnik ali ne več kot 27,2 oziroma minimum 0,7 kilovatne ure za inštalirano moč. Če zdaj tukaj pogledamo še številke glede teh skupnostnih samooskrb, kaj smo dobili teh vlog v hišo za OVE1, OVE2. Tukaj za OVE1, kot sem povedal, je že zaključen, od 538 odločb pozitivnih je tukaj za skupnostno samooskrbo bilo 16 pozitivnih, za 5,9 sonca oziroma 7,3 megavatne ure hranilnikov. Te zadeve so že, bom rekel, odločbe so šle ven. Pri OVE2 smo pa dobili do tega trenutka cirka 60 vlog za 8 mega oziroma 1 mega hranilnikov v vrednosti teh odločb malo več kot 2,2 milijona evra. Tukaj bi zaključil, bi se vam zahvalil za pozornost, bi pa tudi povedal tukaj, da pohvalil bi tudi sodelovanje z MOPE, glede na to, da je Borzen v letošnjem letu izvedel že 10 javnih pozivov z področja OVE in z področja e-mobilnosti. 3 še bomo do konca leta, mogoče pa še ta številka, da smo v zadnje pol leta izdali 12,000 pozitivnih odločb, tako da, ja, tako sem omenil, sredstva so, razpisi so na voljo, tako da se prijavite. Hvala.
Hvala lepa vam, gospod Gornjak. In prostor za vprašanja, kakšne izkušnje, ki jih imate, kaj še potrebujete, kaj vam manjka, karkoli. Pohvale tudi sprejemamo. Ok, kot razum, imamo vendarle eno vprašanje, oziroma mnenje.
Najprej, ja, pohvala, da seveda in ministrstvo in Borzenu, da so dejansko uspeli vse to shendlati, tak velik priliv in tako količino teh vlog. Mislim, vsej, koliko smo se mi pogovarjali, noben ni verjel, da bo to tako stekalo. Bi pa imel samo vprašanje glede teh skupnostnih samooskrb, ki jih mi zdaj kar nekaj pripravljamo za prijavo. Če sem prav razumel, OVE1, OVE2, OVE2 je zdaj teh 5 milijonov, ki je razpisanih, še in 2,23 milijona je že porabljenih, če sem prav razumel.
Ja.
Hvala.
Ok, hvala. Še kaj? Ne. Potem pa vas zdaj vse skupaj vabim na odmor, ki bo še toliko bolj okusen, prigrizek namreč, zato ker bo podnebju prijazen, kar pomeni, da je vse 100% rastlinsko in po večini tudi ekološko, lokalno in sezonsko. Kava in čaj, ki bosta postrežena, pa sta iz pravične trgovine. Nazaj pa vas povabim, da pridemo 15 minut čez 11. Torej imamo dobrih 20 minut odmora, torej 15 čez pa nadaljujemo z drugim delom predstavitvijo dobrih praks. Hvala za enkrat. Torej nadaljujemo za predstavitvijo dobrih praks in z nami tukaj je že gospod Tomaž Zver, ki je direktor podjetja Kisik d.o.o. in nam bo predstavil dobre prakse z področja daljinskega ogrevanja na lesno biomaso. Izvolite.
Hvala za povabilo. Zdaj, ne bo samo zgodba daljinskih ogrevanj na lesno biomaso, ampak se je to z leti precej razvilo. Res je, da smo začeli z daljinskimi ogrevanji na lesno biomaso in takrat jih še nismo imenovali energetske skupnosti. Danes je pač to dobilo malo drugo formo in se temu zdaj reče energetska skupnost, ampak takrat, ko smo mi začenjali, smo v bistvu iskali model. Jaz sem bil takrat še zaposlen na Ministrstvu za javno upravo in sem bil zadolžen za delo z lokalnimi skupnostmi in smo iskali v bistvu rešitev ali model, kako zagnati projekte vezane na lesno biomaso. Namreč na eni strani smo imeli občine, ki so kričale po projektih, ja, lesna biomasa, daljinsko ogrevanje na lesno biomaso, to mi bi. Na drugi strani ministrstvo, ki je razpisovalo sredstva, pa ni bilo projektov in smo potem mi nekako štartali to zgodbo, kaj pa, ne? In smo malo pogledali okrog in najdeli v Avstriji v bistvu zelo razvit model zadružništva vezano na izrabo lesne biomase v lokalnem okolju. V Avstriji temu rečejo Heizgenossenschaften, v bistvu so to ogrevalne zadruge in potem smo mi to zagrabili, ta model in ga prenesli v Slovenijo. Zdaj, tukaj vidite več teh zadrug, to so naši projekti, začelo se je z sončno zadrugo leta 2013 in začelo se je z osnovno idejo, ki sem jo zdaj omenil, se pravi, kako v lokalni skupnosti povezati odjemalce in kako povezati dobavitelje lesne biomase v neko skupno zgodbo. Konkurenca je bila takrat bleščeča, bil je to Interenergo današnji, takrat je to bil Kelag Verme in največ bitk smo imeli pa s petrolom. Tako da konkurenca je bila izziv, ki smo ga potem tudi uspeli premagati, v nekem smislu, sploh v malih okoljih. Zdaj, daljinsko ogrevanje na lesno biomaso v osnovi gre za to, da mi vzpostavimo energetsko skupnost, uredimo financiranje, pridobimo nepovratna sredstva, ki so jih takrat na ministrstvu razpisovali in to postavimo v lokalno okolje in upamo, da zadeva čim bolj zaživi, sama od sebe. Se pravi, da je čim manj našega inputa potrebnega in to nam dejansko zelo uspeva. Prvi projekt, ki je bil, s katerim smo mi začeli v tej zadružni zgodbi, sončne zadruge, je bila osnovna šola Cerkvenjak, kjer smo naredili kalkulacijo in to je bil tudi prvi projekt, kjer smo se srečali s petrolom, kjer smo na eni strani izračunali njihove stroške in na drugi strani stroške, ki jih bojo imeli, če štartajo na občini tak projekt. Kar je bila dodatno zelo dobra popotnica temu projektu, je bilo to, da je občina morala nekaj narediti, ker jim je kotlovnica propadala. In so z veseljem zagrabili to zgodbo, ampak zraven smo dobili pa konkurenco Petrol, takrat smo se prvič srečali z njimi in tukaj je bila razlika zelo očitna. Petrol je delal takrat kalkulacije na profitabilen način, kar pač neko podjetje praviloma naredi, se pravi, mi pričakujemo toliko, se pravi, strošek je 110 evrov na megavatno uro toplote, občina, mi vam ponudimo 105 evrov, pa bomo vsi zadovoljni. Mi smo pa obrnili zgodbo, smo rekli, ne, strošek je toliko, zadruga rabi 10% od tega, in mi vam pa lahko zagotovimo 76 evrov. In dejansko to v praksi tako živi. Namreč Petrol je potem dobil sosednjo občino, praktično identičen projekt, kjer imajo za 30% dražjo toploto, kakor v Cerkvenjaku. Zraven tega, da je član zadruge dobavitelj lesne biomase, to je naše pravilo, se pravi, vedno, ko zadruga pride v neko okolje, član zadruge dobavlja to biomaso in tudi biomaso dobiva plačano naš član boljše, kot pa pri Petrolu, namreč dobavlja pa tudi tja v sosednjo občino. Zgodba se je začela, pravim, v Cerkvenjaku, leta 2013, 2014 je šel projekt v življenje in potem smo zrasli, se pravi, zgodba je rasla, vidite tudi po obsegu, zadnji projekt, ki je bil realiziran, je bil Dovolj Hrastovc, znotraj v okviru sončne zadruge. Dovolj Hrastovc je v bistvu relativno velik projekt, zdaj sicer klele je sama investicija, ampak kompletna investicija je bila okrog 1,5 milijona, tudi vidite, kako so evropska sredstva, v kakšni meri so pomagala pri tej rasti in tudi danes vidite, sončna zadruga skozi prodajo toplote realizira že 400 000 evrov na leto. To je, zdaj se pravi, ta zadruga je sicer socialno podjetje, je registrirana kot socialno podjetje, ampak je finančno samozadostna in tudi širi svojo zgodbo. Naprimer, to je zadnji projekt Dovolj Hrastovec, in tukaj je nekaj podatkov o dimenzijah, ampak skozi projekte, ki so bili realizirani do sedaj, zadruga več nima nobenega problema prihajati do kapitala, do finančnih sredstev. Danes nam banka v bistvu potrjuje kredite tako eksplozivno hitro, kar je nor privilegij, ker vemo, kako smo se od začetka mučili s temi projekti. In mi zdaj v bistvu razvijamo zgodbo naprej. Zraven tega, da prihajajo novi dolbi, tudi v okviru drugih zadrug, ki sem jih prej prikazal, razvijamo zgodbo tudi znotraj samih zadrug. Naprimer, klele vsako kotlovnico opremimo tudi s fotovoltaiko, da imamo mi čim bolj samozadostno, se pravi energetsko samozadostno zgodbo. Se pravi, Dovolj Hrastovec je dobil svojo samoskrbno sončno elektrarno, Dovolj Cankova je dobila svojo samoskrbno sončno elektrarno. Zdaj v Šalovcih je pa zgodba malo drugačna. Šalovci so pa zdaj, ravno zaključujemo projekt, Šalovci so pa v sklopu, se pravi kotlovnica je pa v sklopu večjega objekta občinskega in nismo mogli narediti samo zase sončne elektrarne, ker je bilo na sami kotlovnici premalo prostora. In kaj smo naredili? Rekli smo, ok, obstajajo energetske skupnosti, dajmo mi narediti veliko elektrarno, kolikor gre na to streho, mi sebi zadostimo lastne potrebe, ampak dajmo zagotoviti še za javne objekte, pa še za fizične osebe, ki so zraven. In to zgodbo zdaj širimo še naprej, se pravi, imamo zdaj fotovoltaiko, imamo skupnosti in zdaj je v Rogaševcih je ena že zagnana energetska skupnost vezana na fotovoltaiko, v Rogaševcih je tudi naš Dolb, se pravi, praviloma zdaj delamo tam, kjer so daljinska ogrevanja in širimo zgodbo, se pravi, v Rogaševcih je štartala prva fotovoltaična skupnost, ki že deluje in pripravljamo še dve, ki gresta zdaj v izvedbo. In to je nekako zgodba, ki jo mi vidimo. Zdaj, prej je bila debata, da prihaja razpis, ker namreč mi gledamo še naprej. Zdaj, eno je fotovoltaika, eno so daljinska ogrevanja na lesno biomaso, eno je naprimer tudi banke ledu in tako naprej. Namreč, zdaj mi v Lovrencu na Pohorju, ki je tudi naš projekt v okviru sončne zadruge, razmišljamo širše. Namreč, morate vedeti, daljinsko ogrevanje na lesno biomaso v prvi fazi velik hranilnik toplote. Vsak dolb ima zaradi specifike ogrevanja na lesno biomaso tudi velik zalogovnik toplote in vemo, kaj se dogaja z elektriko na trgu. Se pravi, elektrika zelo niha. Zakaj ne bi mi takrat, ko je cena zelo nizka elektrike ali pa celo negativna, kar pomeni, nekdo mora elektriko nekam spraviti in je pripravljen za to celo plačati, zakaj ne bi mi takrat shranjevali toplote v velik zalogovnik, ker to niso majhne kapacitete, in si zagotovili toploto za ponedeljek in torek. Skratka, to so zdaj novi koncepti, ki nam sicer ne grejo čisto na roko se pravi, te ponudniki električne energije nas klele malo bremzajo, ampak gremo naprej. Okay. Zdaj, naslednja taka zgodba je Loški potok. To je že bilo na prejšnjih konferencah, bom samo ušvrknil ga, ker je tudi naš projekt v bistvu od prve ideje naprej. Zdaj, tudi v Loškem potoku je zgodba bila podobna. Začela se leta 2017, ustanovili smo zadrugo, lesna zadruga Loški potok, dobili kredit okrog 550 000 evrov, investicija je bila velika 850 000 evrov in si predstavljate bankirja, ko smo mi prišli k njemu, rabimo kredit 550 000 evrov, projekt 800 000 evrov, bankir tako gleda, ok, super, vaše bilance, mi imamo pa na novo ustanovljeno socialno podjetje. In so mislili najprej, da je skrita kamera, ali kaj, se nas gleda čudno, ampak pol so dali kredit. Skratka, to je bil prvi korak, naredili smo daljinsko ogrevanje na lesno biomaso, relativno velik sistem. Danes v bistvu ta sistem nadomesti cirka 100.000 litrov kurilnega olja. Se pravi, takrat so vsi ti javni objekti kurili kurilno olje, danes je izključno lokalni vir lesne biomase. Zdaj, tukaj vidite zraven fotovoltaika bistveno večje, kot je potreba, spravi, spet imamo kotlovnico, ki je samooskrbna, seveda, ampak spet, sama sončna elektrarna je bila prevelika za potrebe same kotlovnice in spet prva misel je bila, energetske skupnosti. No? In smo isto naredili skupnost in zagotavljamo zdaj električno energijo za objekte v neposredni bližini, ker je bilo želja po tej elektriki bistveno več, kot je ta sama elektrarna prva te elektrike zagotovila, smo zgradili še eno. Zdaj, tukaj je seveda zelo, zelo pomembno, da je župan v občini precej, kako bi rekel, inovativen ali pa prodoren, tako da prisluhne idejam, namreč mi smo to potem skombinirali še z medgeneracijskim centrom. Zakaj bi samo fotovoltaiko, dajmo še narediti medgeneracijski center cel. In ta objekt, ki ga tukaj vidite, je država dala 500.000 evrov zraven, občina ga je prenovila, samooskrbna skupnost, mladi, stari, skupaj zunaj so vrtovi, kjer mladi in stari lahko skupaj vrtnarijo, zagotavlja se čista energija. Ampak tukaj se nismo ustavili, tukaj gre zgodba naprej. Namreč v Loškem potoku se postavlja 4. slovenska vetrna elektrarna, katere v delnem solastništvu je tudi zadruga. Zdaj, sicer je projekt tako velik, da ga pač zadruga ni mogla sama shendlati in smo povabili partnerje Dravske elektrarne, ki so potem prevzeli levji delež. Mislim, zelo veliko je tudi premaknila država, Ministrstvo za okolje in prostor in energijo. Ampak ta vetrnica zdaj raste, nastaja. In mi se soočamo z hudo civilno inicijativo, ki postajajo zelo, zelo agresivni. Namreč lesna zadruga Loški potok je pričela z umeščanjem v prostor večjega vetrnega polja. 5 velikih vetrnih elektrarn na bližnjem hribu, to je v bistvu, zdaj pa jaz ne vem, imam, skratka, klele malo niže dol, če gledate vetrno karto občine, se pravi, klele, ko so te lepši metri na sekundo, tam se začne prava zgodba, se pravi, zdaj umeščamo v prostor, se pravi, vetrno polje, klele pa zadruga pelje ključno, se pravi, klele pa ima zadruga ključno vlogo. In to je zgodba zadrug v lokalnem okolju, ko se dobro cepijo v okolje. Namreč tudi sončno zadrugo zelo dobro sprejemajo v Prekmurju, kjer imamo večino projektov, kamorkoli pridejo, nam verjamejo v bistvu. Tudi zdaj, naprimer, ko v občini Cankova delamo skupnostno sončno elektrarno veliko, ko rečemo sončna zadruga, noben sploh ne dvomi, da jim hočemo kaj slabega. Mislim, to je ogromen, vsi, ki delate z ljudmi, veste, kaj to pomeni, ko ti zaupajo. Ok, mogoče zdaj še en zadnji, tak na hitro samo primer, kako se tega mi lotevamo. To je zdaj čist aktualen primer. Jaz sem se preselil na Kras, prej sem bil v Ljubljani, sem iz Prlekije. In zdaj, ko sem prišel na Kras, prvi korak je bil, tam smo z Rajkotom Ledno se sva staknila moči in on je tam domačin. Sem se rekel, Rajko, greva mi da malo po občinah, jaz hočem klede tudi zadrugo ustanoviti. In nastala je energetska zadruga Gmajna, ki ima plan realizacijo energetskih projektov na območju Krasa in Brkinov. In seveda smo takoj potem povabili občine Sežana, Komen, Kozina, Miren. Zdaj Divača ima neko svojo zgodbo, ampak tudi občinski svet Divače je že potrdil, da bi šli v to zadrugo. In klele smo potem nanizali projekte. Zdaj, kaj je ključen del cele zgodbe? Klele, ko mi nekam pridemo in ustanovimo zadrugo. Tale zadruga mora bazirati na nekem realnem projektu, ki bo zagotovil finančno trdnost in bo možno prvi projekt sfinancirati in zagotoviti cash flow. Da potem vse ostale projekte lažje peljemo v lokalnem okolju. In Dolp je idealen takšen projekt, zato ker ima zelo jasno ekonomiko v ozadju, nepovratna sredstva, to praktično vemo zdaj, copy-paste iz drugih okolij in zagotovi res finančno trdnost in potem so vsi ostali projekti zelo, zelo enostavni. Skratka, tole zdaj že tečejo, pripravljajo se dokumenti identifikacije investicijskega projekta, se pravi prvi dokument je DIP in jih že pripravljamo za 2 dolba in tudi energetske skupnosti vezano na fotovoltaiko, 3 energetske skupnosti so zdaj štartale z izvedbo, tako da ta projekt je tudi zdaj zaživel. Toliko z moje strani.
Hvala. Vprašanja? Tamle Gaja, lej.
Pozdravljeni, mene pa zanima, kdo so pri vas potem v večini primerov člani teh zadrug. Ker vem, da pač zadruge so lahko različne, lahko so od lastnikov oziroma od vaščanov, ali so to, ne vem, občina in vsi ostali, ali so, mislim, to me mogoče malo bolj zanima.
Ja, zdaj sploh prvi projekti so bili vezani na oskrbo s toploto javnih objektov, ker to zagotavlja, žal, ko vsi izpostavljajo problem financiranja takih projektov. Najlažje je tak projekt financirati, če imaš v ozadju pogodbo za 15 let z javnimi objekti, ne? Tako smo mi začeli. In to smo potem zastavili kot garancijo pri banki in banka na osnovi tega, se pravi, da mi dobimo nepovratna sredstva in da imamo za 15 let zagotovljen odkup toplote strani javnih subjektov, na ta način smo mi štartali projekte. Žal, mislim, praktično druge poti ni bilo. In zato so prvi člani bili občina in dobavitelji lesne biomase. Se pravi, in tudi vsi, ki so bili kakorkoli povezani z delovanjem tega sistema. Namreč zelo pomemben človek v vsakem takem sistemu je lokalni upravitelj, se pravi, ta, ki tam dela s kotlovnico. Ko pride alarm, to veste, da pač ne morem jaz iz Ljubljane se vse z avtoba dol peljati, ampak to mora biti nek domačin in te so tudi potem člani zadruge, se pravi občina, te, ki imajo karkoli pravka s tem in tudi dobavitelji lesne biomase. Se pravi, glavne so to člani. Zdaj v drugih primerih, mislim, to je lahko različno. Naprimer v Hrastniku smo se odločili drugače. Tam smo se v bistvu odločili, to je ta energetska zadruga Zeleni Hrastnik, to je ta pač skupnost, ko so jo prej omenjali. Tam smo se odločili, da bomo pa članstvo povabili vse odjemalce, se pravi, da bojo oni zgradili članstvo in oni bojo potem lastniki zadruge in ta zadruga potem sfinancira ta projekt.
Ok, hvala. Še kakšno vprašanje? Tukaj le.
Lep pozdrav, Nina Hojnik, bom prva, ki se predstavi. Jaz sem direktorica Združenja slovenske fotovoltaike. Pa me v bistvu zanima, zdaj, ko širite vse te energetske skupnosti oziroma prej imenovane drugače z soncem, širite tudi zadruge, vzpostavljate nove energetske skupnosti in zdaj, zakaj ne bi pri novih projektih že o obojem hkrati razmišljali? Ker se mi zdi, da se ločeno vodi zgodba lesne biomase, potem se doda sonce, potem se širi energetska skupnost, dodaja člane ali iste zadruge širite. To ni bilo jasno.
Aha, ne, v bistvu mogoče nisem hotel od začetka dosti časa zdaj izgubljati, ker je bilo veliko vsebine. Ne, to mislim, ni enoznačno, da bi mi zdaj to kakorkoli ločevali. Klele pač bilo sončna zadruga, lesna zadruga, Loški potok, so bile ustanovljene že davno nazaj. In takrat še mi v fotovoltaiki, lažem, sončna zadruga je bila ustanovljena z namenom, ampak še takrat tistih feed-in tarif. Mi smo takrat štartali prvo večjo zgodbo, kjer smo hoteli delati eko-obveznice, na nek način eko-obveznice, takrat jih nismo tako imenovali, ampak je potem ta feed-in tarifa padla, to pač poznate zgodbo, ko so se subvencijske sheme na Borzenu podrle in smo začeli z lesno biomaso in pol je bilo pač leta in leta lesna biomasa, lesna zadruga, Loški potok je bila lesna biomasa in takoj, ko se je pojavila fotovoltaika, smo jo začeli priključevati zraven. Zeleni Hrastnik je pa čisto drugače že bila. Tam smo pa zgradili zgodbo okrog fotovoltaike in je tudi zadruga bila ustanovljena s tem namenom, da bo realizirala sončno elektrarno na osnovni šoli.
Verjetno se nisva točno razumeli.
Ja.
Če imate vi različne obnovljive vire energije v eni energetski skupnosti, zakaj bi ločevali pravno osebo? Ta del me zanima, da bi lahko v bistvu, ko ste recimo Loškemu potoku dodali fotovoltaika, potem širili še projekt z medgeneracijskim domom in vse to.
A je zakaj zadruge ustanavljamo?
Ja, zakaj dodatna, zakaj iste ne širite? Recimo,
Ja, sej. Zdaj to malo izvira tudi iz moje vizije, da na koncu ste videli sliko Janeza Evangelista Kreka. Ne? On je bil res fenomenalen človek. On je imel tik pred smrtjo, Slovenija je bila velesila v zadružništvu in to je mene zelo driver. Jaz sem hotel čim več zadrug. Ne? Jaz sem imel vizijo, jaz bom imel pa vsaj 100 zadrug do svoje penzije. Ne? In smo hoteli za vsak projekt svojo zadrugo. Ja, zdaj gremo pa kontra, zdaj pa konsolidiramo. Zdaj sončna zadruga, naprimer Lovrenc, kjer bi bilo po svoje logično, ali pa Vitanje, kjer bi bilo logično, da naredimo spet novo zadrugo, kar jo bi 5 let nazaj. Zdaj sončno zadrugo širimo na celo to območje. Zdaj smo se nekako odločili, da bomo cel vzhod za vse projekte pokrivali za sončno zadrugo, ker je finančno močna, ker je zlahka dobiti za kredite in tako naprej. Čeprav moram priznati, naprimer sončni ig, energetska zadruga, smo zlahka dobili kredit, je pa res, da je pa v ozadju delavska hranilnica, ki vidi te projekte, vidi skozi mene, vidi vse te projekte in do zdaj pač noben projekt ni bil nobena težava. Ne. So nam tudi sončnik je nova zadruga, ampak smo zlahka dobili kredit.
Je odgovorjeno. Hvala. Še kakšno vprašanje? Tukaj, ja, gospod, izvolite.
Eno malo drzno vprašanje, ki pa je realno. V Sloveniji se pripravlja JEK2, kao najboljša varianta. Ne? Obstajajo pa majhni modularni reaktorji. Zakaj naj bi vi se lotili tega konkurenčnega projekta, izločili vse daljnovode in postavili take majhne, samooskrbne modularne reaktorje skupaj z potrošniki, z soinvestitorji in tako naprej. Imate vse izkušnje. Jedrsko gorivo, mali reaktorji v Ljubljani 2, na Prekmurju 1 in tako naprej. Malo nora ideja, ki pa je realna, ne bo petrol vam nasprotoval, ampak LS.
Ja, zdaj, kdo pravi, da ne razmišljamo o tem? Ne, v bistvu je zdaj tako, da probleme zaenkrat, ne vem, to ministrstvo je bolj pravi naslov za to. Vem, da zakonsko zaenkrat ne moreš biti lastnik distribucijskega omrežja. Ne? Ampak mislim, da Evropska unija zdaj pripravlja pravilni ali pa uredbo, ne vem v kakšni formi bo to sprejeto, kjer bo jo države pač, ne vem, imele možnost ali bojo pa morale odpreti tudi ta segment. Ne? Se pravi, da boš ti lahko v neki vasi, ali vemo Luče, naprimer so en tak primer prakse, ki ga Rajko zelo dobro pozna, v Lučah so naredili dejansko fizično energetsko skupnost, ne? Se pravi pameten transformator z baterijo že takrat, fotovoltaika, odjemalci in tako naprej. Ja, Lovrenc je naprimer točno taka stvar, ki razmišljamo, ker je trafo strašno slab, da bomo tudi v trafo posegali, ne? Ampak žal ne bomo mogli biti mi lastniki. Naprimer, to bi bil idealen case, ja, razmišljamo o tem in upam, da se bo kaj premaknilo na tem področju, ker vemo, v Ameriki je, ne vem koliko, 50% se mi zdi distribucijskega omrežja v zadružnem lastništvu, to je največja zadruga ameriška. Ne?
Ok, hvala. Ste dobili odgovor? Ja. Še kaj vas zanima? Zdaj je priložnost, da vprašate, pokomentirate. Ok, če ne, potem pa gremo naprej. Hvala lepa, gospod Zver. In vabim kar gospod Paulo Damaško. Ona prihaja iz Zelene energetske zadruge. To je krovna organizacija na področju energetskega zadružništva na Hrvaškem, ki nam bo predstavila dobre prakse skupnostnih sončnih elektrarn. V angleščini.
Hi everyone, thank you for the introduction. Yes, I'm lucky to be here, happy to be here. I wasn't supposed to be here from the very moment of planning this conference, so please excuse my using of notes a little bit, don't hold it against me. Yes, today I will present to you a few of the good practices that we are doing through projects in a green energy cooperative in Zagreb. Not all these projects are situated in Zagreb, of course. And then I will tell you a bit about opportunities and some hurdles that we are facing in Croatia regarding energy communities and activities that we are conducting there. So firstly, I will tell you I will breeze through a lot of projects, and then I'll focus on a few that are, I think, in my opinion, most important and most valuable for me to talk about. So as for the Compile project is dealing with energy communities, and it's leaning against the project that we had in 2018 and 2019, located in city of Križevci. Maybe some of you heard about that story. So then we were doing a crowd investing campaign, and we were gathering finances from citizens mainly from Križevci city. And with these funds, we collected in only 10 days from 51 citizens 30,000 euros for 2 PVs that were placed on public buildings. One was placed on Technology Park in Križevci, and one was placed on the public library. So the business model here, so obviously crowd investing, and then after we gathered all the finances, we ZES, so Green Energy Cooperative, is the owner of the PV for 10 years. The 10 years is the period in which we are returning the investment through the amount that is from the savings. So the savings come to our account, and then we return these investments to the citizens that invested in the PVs in the beginning. So after 10 years, and it's important to note that there is an interest rate of 4.5% here. After 10 years, all the citizens will be paid off, and then the PVs are not anymore in the ownership of Green Energy Cooperative, but in the ownership of the Technology Park and the library. So this was the base model that we, through Compile project, let me circle back to that, through Compile project, we tested a business model through development of solutions for small producers of electricity. And we added upon these 2 PVs an electric vehicle charging station with 2 charging units, and at the parking lot of this development technology center. And additionally, we also put the battery energy storage system with a total capacity of 16.9 kilowatt hours. So this was financed partially through public authorities finance and partially through National Fund for Environmental Protection and Energy Efficiency. So the business model that we were testing basically here was outsourcing data collection management, because data collection is one of the hurdles that energy communities face in Croatia. So to be concrete, access to data. For innovative models like energy trading, for example, energy communities need access to high-resolution energy data, and this data is often either expensive, either unavailable, which is then consequently limiting new business opportunities. So through Compile on the existing site, we were piloting data management. Besides Compile, we also have Scale, or to say correctly, Sustainable Collective Action of Citizens for Local Europe. So here we are testing still, this is an ongoing project, a financing scheme for energy efficiency and renewable energy sources in the context, again, of public buildings. Here we are building a PV, a small PV of 3 kilowatts, is planned to be installed on kindergarten in Istria County, so in city of Poreču. The business model that we are piloting here is centered basically around participation of citizens in financing the public investments for the PV that I just mentioned through buying of value coupons or vouchers that the public institution, the kindergarten, will issue to them, and then later on they will use these vouchers to have smaller fees on the on paying the kindergarten for their children. This is a great model because these vouchers models will later could be used in any public service in the local community. So, for example, library that I mentioned through the Compile project and all the public services. We did come across some complications in the development of this model, and they are mainly focused on the legislative context, which is quite unsupportive and burdensome administrative procedures, and sometimes the ministries can be a bit unresponsive. But the good thing that came from this project is that the city of Poreč has developed all the necessary administrative procedures and documentation for this voucher model to be scalable and to be replicable in other public institutions and in other public services. So you name it. I think this is a very valuable output of the project. Then we have a Life Loop project, which is also focused on development and initiation of energy community projects in cities. We have ACE, which has started recently. Here we are looking into financial mechanisms of financing energy communities. And Comet and ZES-SUN that I will talk to more now. So as for ZES-SUN, this is cooperative with the potential of becoming an energy community quite soon. We are in the process of speaking to all the necessary stakeholders, so hopefully it will be soon. As I mentioned a bit earlier, the administrative and the legislative process is quite slow and quite tiring. So yeah, until now we have 3 registered energy communities in Croatia, and we are setting all the necessary things that need to be done for us to bring even more in this year, hopefully. So yes, ZES-SUN is one of those energy communities. And we have founded these energy communities through Life Loop project, which I mentioned earlier. For now, it has 127 members, and it brings citizens together for a long-term investment in solar plants to create positive social, environmental, and economic values within the communities. So here we involved in these energy communities local craftsmen, local citizens, entrepreneurs, farmers, a whole variety of stakeholders in the production of this renewable, locally produced electricity. Yeah, so as for the administrative, here are the numbers. So we've collected 127 members, and we are installing 200 kilowatt power plant. So here is the an overview of from where our members are. So they are all over, from all over the country, and yeah. As for the administrative challenges, they are mostly centered around legal limitation and around financial challenges. So legal limitations are that the energy communities in Croatia still must operate under the law regulating non-profit financial operations, which is then consequently limiting the competitiveness in the market of energy communities and reducing the business stability. This is connected to the financial challenges, so the resources for startup costs, so there is a bit of lack of initial capital. You have to go for co-financing and participate in entrepreneurial programs to help alleviate this burden. So this also affects on the longevity and how long it takes for the energy community to become a real player on this market. So on this market, the energy communities are on par with major market players, but they typically lack the professional experience since they are made out of non-professional, not necessarily from the energy sector. And they need more political support, more organizational structure in order to compete as the other players on the market. As I already said, we have also the access to data problem and the lack of trust and recognition. As I understood, I had a translator, so the colleague before me said that they have great trust in cooperatives here, but with energy communities in Croatia, I think it's still not the case. There is a general lack of trust from citizens and from banks and from local authorities towards energy communities, which is not surprising since without the clear financial benefits, it's pretty hard to convince someone to invest in a project like this. Yeah, so this is the ZES-SUN model. As you can see, we have membership stakes that go into the energy community. With these funds, we are renting the roof, so there is a roof rental agreement. Then we proceed into energy purchase agreement with the energy provider, and then the incomes from these energy sales from the PV are going back into the energy communities, and then a part of this income is going back to the communities, back to projects of similar kinds, and the other part is returning as a member to the members. Sorry. Part of profits that are reinvested into the projects that benefit the society are particularly focused on alleviating energy poverty, which we think that energy communities are a big actor here in alleviating energy poverty. In Croatia, we are also tackling this issue of defining energy poverty, defining different measures, different indicators. So we are still starting to unfold this whole problem, but energy communities are obviously connected to alleviating this problem and have great capacity for this, and also environmental protection, of course. So ZES-SUN has until now acquired the right to rent the roof on the city market owned by Križevci utility company. As you can see, we are quite fond of this Križevci locality. This is where we had our first big shot, and this is where we love to come back to. And yes, I already said what ZES-SUN in numbers is about. So for now, we have 39 members that are co-founders of ZES-SUN, and by the end of 2024, we are preparing to install actually this power plant here. So skipping to Live Comet. Live Comet is a project that we are working on with our dear partner Focus, who invited us here today. Thank you for that. And yeah, this project is basically trying to build coalitions of community energy on national levels in countries of Eastern Europe, and supporting pioneering communities in Croatia, in Greece, in Romania, Hungary, Slovenia, Poland, in Estonia. We are collaborating with 8 partners on this project. Among them, you can see Redskop, Social Cooperative Enterprise, Tallinn University, so a wide variety of actors from NGOs to universities. The project will build national coalitions for community energy that will work to simplify the procedures and to create better conditions for citizens' participation in energy communities, since we map this as the biggest hurdles that energy communities face in these localities. ZE's role in this project, or Green Energy Cooperative's role in this project, is organizing the national coalition in Croatia, which we have already started, which we have already done. And by these means, so through our national coalition, we will advocate for to decision makers for a clear definition of this framework that we are currently tapping in, and solving the administrative obstacles, and also providing financial resources to enhance and to enrich energy communities here. Yes, so our mission is to give citizens direct ownership and active participation in the energy market, and we are and thus the realization of new energy plants of at least 1 gigawatt by 2030. So as for these national coalitions in Croatia specifically, so each of the partners will have their own national coalition, but in Croatia we have started a forum for energy communities, and we have common goals with the whole project, but those are to simplify and make the processes of establishment of energy communities more affordable and more simple for those who are not energy experts, to also make technical and financial support more accessible, and to reduce the riskiness of energy communities projects, so that the trust that I said before that lacked, so that this can grow. Also to bring an affordable environment for the work and business of energy communities, with a focus on solutions such as equal participation in the market, and to give municipalities and cities an active role in development of these projects, and to combine civic energy projects on public buildings. These are the 17 members that signed the charter. We have held an energy forum. It was a festival, more of a festival, where we have brought all our members, and we had a signing of this special charter where we've put our mission and our objectives of the forum. Here you can see who signed it. This is our forum in numbers. So we have 17 active organizations. We have 760 kilowatt solar projects ready, and 110 individuals willing to share this energy. So yeah, hopefully we will put this to action soon. As for our relationships with the cities and the municipalities in Croatia, best practices that we have is the Good Energy Festival and Good Energy Tour. Here we were helping cities to install 22 solar power plants, so 22 solar power plants with a total power of 1 megawatt. Basically, we had a tour of the cities, major cities in Croatia, where we talked to the local authorities, presented them with our ideas, with opportunities that they can have. And you can see here the list of the cities that put PVs on their public buildings. And alongside of these activities, we also held presentations for citizens in these cities, and also spread the word about the benefits of renewable energy sources, concretely photovoltaics. And a big number of those attendees actually came back to us, and we also, in Green Energy Cooperatives, besides doing these kind of projects, we also have an activity of of making the journey to your own household PV easier. So we offer administrative and technical help to citizens to get to their own PVs. So this was a great opportunity to mix these two activities and to widen our actions in these cities. Also, we have the I'm just looking at the time. Okay. Also, we have the activity of talking to cities and making projects where they are co-financing the main project of the PVs for our end users, so for households. Yeah, here's my email. Thank you for your attention, and feel free to contact me.
Thank you, hvala. Vprašanja za Paulo? Še komentarji? In Croatian we can also ask, yes, our type. Yeah. Aha, Renata.
Jaz nisem dobro razumela tega voucherskega sistema. A lahko, prosim, lepo še enkrat na kratko nam razložiš?
So in the model of city of Poreč, we have the kindergarten where we are installing the PV on their rooftop. And all the parents of the children that attend this kindergarten are buying vouchers, so like a value, I don't know how to, like a check, yeah? They're buying it, and then this money is going to they're investing in this way in the PV, all of them together. And then later on, once the PV is up and running, they will get that money back through lowering the fees of the kindergarten costs for their children. So this is basically the model.
Renata bo, ne? Ok, hvala. Še kaj? Ok, če ne gremo naprej. Hvala, Paula. Thank you once again. In tokrat imamo z nami spet preko spleta oziroma online gospoda Dirka Van Sintjana, ki pa je predsednik Energetske zveze, ne, Evropske zveze energetskih skupnosti, RESKUP, ki združuje 2250 energetskih skupnosti po vsej Evropi. On pa nam bo predstavil dobro prakso, dobre prakse skupnostnih elektrarn na veter. Hello?
Hello, Dirk. Can you hear us?
Yes.
I can hear you, yes.
So you just got a kind introduction in Slovenian, so I will not introduce you in English again. And just say, yes, we can hear you, we can see your presentation, and the floor is yours.
Okay, good morning, afternoon, good noon. My name is Dirk Van Sintjan. Probably this was said in your language already. For my cooperative EcoPower, I am the president of RESCOP EU, which is the European Federation of Energy Communities. My cooperative's name is EcoPower. We are from the north of Belgium, the Dutch-speaking part of Belgium. And I was asked to tell about the wind project, which really launched our cooperative. Actually, the cooperative, the history of my cooperative goes back to 1982, when I was still a student. I'm not an engineer, I studied Germanic philology, so I'm a linguist. And in the city of Leuven, at the university, I studied there. In this city, there was an industrial mill. It used to be a water mill as well. And that stopped working. And the plan of the city was to destroy the building and build some individual homes there. But we, as a group of students, we had the crazy idea to renovate the building. And we made plans, and we had contacts with people of monuments and sites, and they told us about another mill in a nearby village. That's where I am now, in this mill. And we also bought this mill, so we bought two mills, and we restored this mill, and this mill used to provide the whole village with electricity between 1907 and 1947. And we also had to restore the production of electricity. And that's where we created a cooperative with 6 people around the kitchen table. I still have the table at home. In 1991, and we started the production of electricity 4 years later. In a quite hostile environment for renewable energy. So Belgium has a lot of nuclear. They're now one after the other are closing down. But in in the beginning, they told us we had to pay to get rid of our electricity. So there was no business case at all. And that's how I became more or less like what you could call a lobbyist, or we did advocacy to have a framework, an economical framework, so that renewable energy was feasible in Flanders. You will notice I say Flanders and not Belgium, because apart from offshore and nuclear and high voltage lines, all the rest in Belgium is regionalized in the 3 different regions: Flanders, Brussels, and Wallonia. So, but I was actually to talk about our first wind project. So a few years after we started with the electricity production in this water mill, which produces about 400 to 500,000 kilowatt hours a year, so it's a small project. The city of Eeklo, which lies, for the people who know Belgium a bit, between the city of Ghent and the city of Bruges. The city of Eeklo is a small city, a marketplace with schools and only 20,000 inhabitants, 30 square kilometers. But the households and businesses in this city, they consume about 400 gigawatt hours a year, which represents on average a cost of about 40 million euro a year. So that's what we're talking about when we're going for a local energy transition, is that this money going out of the city, out of our pockets, out of the pockets of businesses, that this money that disappears out of the local economy stays as much as possible in the local area. So now I have to go down, but it doesn't work. Oh, yeah, it's a bit. So this city, Eeklo, as a result of one of the climate conferences, the one in Rio, I think it was in 1992. I think the slogan there was think global, act local. So the city of Eeklo, under the impulse of one of the people working there, they took this literally. So they looked at the territory of the municipality and at the property of the municipal council, of the municipality itself, the city itself, and they asked themselves, what can we do here ourselves? So is there a possibility to build some wind turbines? In 1992, solar panels was not really an option yet, or it was becoming an option. And they made a plan, a wind plan for the whole territory. And they didn't do it in their office, so no, they reached out to all citizens of Eeklo, to all organizations, sports, social organizations, environmental organizations. They took people to go and look at the wind farms in the Netherlands, where there were already some. So people could really get to know what a wind turbine is and what the impact is on the neighborhood. And so together with the people, actually, they started with a white piece of paper, and that's still the best advice we give. Don't go with a plan to people, but go with a white piece of paper and make the plan together with as much people as possible. And so they found out there were 3 spots for wind turbines, one in an industrial zone and one near the football stadium, where 3 wind turbines could be built without hindering people. And they were looking for a partner to build these wind turbines, so the city didn't build them themselves. And they had some principles in this public tender. So they considered wind as a common good, so it doesn't belong to the owner of the land. In this case, it was the municipality, the city. They saw wind as a local product, and they looked at the public location. So they found some spots on the territory of the city itself. In their tender, direct participation of citizens and small SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, was crucial. and they also looked for local added value. So they organized a tender. The first one was in 1999, and they didn't want the different candidates to bid with money. So they said we want 25,000 euro a year as a city because we own the land. But what is the added value for the city and the citizens? And are you open for direct participations? There's a reference to the ICA definition, so that's the International Cooperative Alliance definition. So, and its principles. So as cooperatives, we adhere to these definitions and principles. So we as a young, small cooperative with 30 members and 2 million Belgian francs, which is 50,000 euros in our pockets, in our bank account, we won this tender because we did several interesting proposals, what we could do apart from the 25,000 euros a year. And we said, well, if the citizens of Eeklo really want it, they can go up to 100% of citizen participation because we're a cooperative. So we won this tender against the monopolist. We had a private monopolist in Belgium who owns the nuclear power plants. And we won the tender because we were open to 100% of participation. So you can see these wind turbines here on the photographs. Actually, you can't see them anymore because they were built in the year 2000. It's the previous one, those three. And they were at the end of their lifetime, so we already took them away. We were not able to replace them because the plan of the city didn't match the plan of the province, which was made later and which reoriented the sites for wind turbines to a highway instead of to the canal. So in 2012, there was another tender, and there were 5 new wind turbines were built, and we didn't win them all because we didn't secure the spots for the wind turbines in time. So other commercial players, they built part of the wind turbines. But what is special in Eeklo is that because they did this in the very beginning, they took all people along, people could participate. There has never been one objection when a permit was asked for wind turbines in this city. So what the city of Eeklo did in the very beginning is still the example of how to proceed to avoid protest and people trying to stop the procedure of getting a permit. So in the city of Eeklo, I think now there are 20 wind turbines. Not one of them had the opposition from the citizens. So one of the things we offered the municipality is that we hired an engineer, and he is at the disposal of the municipality. So actually, EcoPower, my cooperative, pays the wages of an engineer, which is at the disposal of the municipality, of the city, to help them in energy efficiency programs, to help them in other renewable energy projects in the city. And because they signed the Covenant of Mayors, this is monitored, and that's how we as a cooperative, we help them. So the result of these projects in Eeklo was that our cooperative grew with the first 3 wind turbines from 30 members to 1,200. A year later, our General Assembly decided that we would become a supplier of electricity, of green electricity, because the market was liberalized, was made free in Flanders, mid-2003. And because we sold the electricity at cost, we were the cheapest on the market, which has led to the fact that we grow according to the number of wind turbines and solar panels which we are able to install. So this is a part of the plan of the city of Eeklo. So with a growing number of renewable energy production and with energy efficiency, which brings the consumption down, that there would be a turning point in 2040 where more is produced locally than what comes from outside of the municipality. So, so this is the plan of the province. You see on top, maybe I can, here, you see that's where the new wind turbines are installed now. That was near a highway, whereas our wind turbines were here near the canal, here in the football stadium. So these three are gone now, and now these wind turbines are there. Only 3 of them are owned by our cooperative, unfortunately. Although the city demanded from all developers that 50% would be open for participation, actually they didn't do it. They signed it, but they didn't offer participation. So that's a bit of a disappointment. So we could have built them all, but this is not the case. So, so in total, there are 22 wind turbines now. In the plan of the city, they also wanted to have photovoltaic panels on 60% of all roofs. And they were also thinking about harvesting, how do you call it in English, wood around the fields, so that you cut every 10 years and to use it in a heat network. Because that was also one of the things we offered the city, that we would investigate building a district heating network based on the incinerator of household waste. This plan is delayed because although the incinerator is property of all the municipalities around Eeklo, and they've been wasting the heat into the air for more than 30 years now. Now that there is talk about a heat network, now all at once the heat has a price, and the price is too high to make a business case for the heat network. So this is another map they made. It's about the heat network. So the aim is to become to get rid of all fossil gas, and so this is the map they made, also taking into account small producers of heat, or all the ones who need a lot of heat, also in summer, like a new hospital, for instance. So, so actually, you could say EcoPower has grown thanks to these projects. So these figures are a bit old now. We have about 30 wind turbines now. So all at once, over the past 2 years, we got some permits again. And the number of members has grown to 70,000 already last year. And what is, so we invested in wind. We have 3 very small hydropower schemes. Most of them are monuments. This is the one you see there, produces 4 kilowatt. So that's more like a showcase for schools to go and see. We also have cogeneration on rapeseed oil. We used to have a pellet factory, but we had to close it because we are flooded now by wood pellets coming from Turkey, but actually they come from Russia, it seems, so at a very low price, so we had to stop producing our own pellets. And we have a lot of PV installations. We are not allowed to put them in the field, so they're all on roofs of municipalities and businesses and people. So what is also remarkable, I think, is that half of our members, which are households, they have installed PV on their roofs, and this produces as much electricity as we do with our wind turbines. And on average, because they have solar panels, our members consume only half of what the average Flemish household consumes, which is about 3,400 kilowatt hours. So our members consume 1,700 on average. Yeah. And then we had the gas, the energy crisis. We call it an energy price crisis because actually there was gas. And gas, as probably you know, set the price for the electricity. And because gas is the most expensive way of producing electricity, which sets the price, which was gas in the past years. And here you see in red, this is what our members have as an advantage on their electricity bill. And the blue one is the dividend they got over the past 12 years, let's say. And you see that in 2022, they had an enormous advantage on their bill because we produce more electricity than we consume, than our members consume. And we didn't, our price was not fixed was not linked to the gas price, but only for a part, because of course, when there's no wind, no sun, we had to buy on the market at a high price. So, but in 1 year, our average household member in 2022, their bill was 556 euros smaller than the cheapest commercial supplier. So we say, well, we shielded our members from this gas price crisis, let's say, and only because we were able to do this only because we produce it ourselves. So for us, energy communities, the ownership of the production facilities, whether they are wind turbines or solar panels, is crucial. And so I don't have a slide for it, but all Belgian energy communities, energy cooperatives, all 34 of them, we created a platform cooperative, which is called C-Coop. And with this platform cooperative, we are heading for a participation in the new offshore wind turbines, the new concessions the Belgian government just launched. And so, because when offshore wind, and of course Slovenia, for you it's not the case, but offshore wind, they always say, well, this park is good enough for 200,000 households, but actually the electricity never goes to households because the banks, they want the developers of offshore wind, they want that they have contracts with big industry, refineries, for instance, or data center who need a lot of electricity, and they want them to have a PPA, a power purchase agreement with them at a fixed price. And actually, this would be a very interesting price for households as well. So, but we want that we have citizen power purchase agreements so that if we own part of the wind turbines, the offshore wind turbines, we can also offer our members a stable price and that they are less vulnerable for these prices, these gas crises we had in the past. So that's my last slide, I think. So if there are questions about this or about other things.
Thank you.
Stop sharing.
Thank you. Vprašanja? Pardon. Super, da vas imamo.
Everyone's quiet or
No,
hungry?
we are expecting one question, at least one.
Goeiedag, Dirk. I have been working in Belgium for 2 years, so my question is how you deal with grid management companies, grid taxes. I didn't catch this in your presentation.
Yeah, we just pay for it, so like everyone else. So EcoPower is for the government or for the regulator. We're a supplier like everyone else. So we have no advantages over the others, except as a cooperative, and that's for all cooperatives in Belgium, which follow certain rules and limit their profits, their dividends to 6%. The dividend we pay our members. So if we have a profit, and that's not our aim. So if we have a profit and then we give a dividend, this is considered by the Belgian tax authorities as a cost for the cooperative. So actually a recognized cooperative that follows certain rules never pay taxes because it's not the aim to make profit. So if we make too much profit, we lower our price. So that's what we do. So we follow the rules. We are, What we want with the energy communities, now we have these definitions from the European Commission. Actually, it's us who asked not to call it cooperatives, because we know that in certain countries, in the former communist countries, let's say, that the word cooperative is often connotated with communism. So we asked them to give us another name. It's us who suggest to call it energy communities, because in England it's called community energy. So what we want with these energy communities is not only what EcoPower has been doing as a supplier with a license and everything, but also, for instance, that people in an apartment block who have a common roof, common solar panels, that they can deduct from their bill part of the production of their common PV installation without paying the grid costs, just like a private person who has a private roof and a private PV installation is doing it. So now, at least in Belgium, there is still a discrimination between people with a private roof, private installation, and people with a common roof and common installation. And Europe allows to take away this discrimination, but it's up to the member states to transpose and implement these directives, of course. And we as a federation, the European Federation, we look at the transposition and the implementation in the member states. We have a tracker on our website. You can see this. I didn't have a look. I should have had a look at how Slovenia is doing. But I can tell you there's a lot of work still to be done by the member states. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Shatamle, we have one more question.
Excellent.
Hello. You said that you were able to beat the offer of the monopolist on your first 3 windmills.
Yeah.
Why didn't the same technique work with the 20 new ones?
Well, because we always work. We want to work closely together with municipalities, because our aim is not for profit, and we want to keep the money that is flowing out of the local economy for gas, oil, coal, uranium, whatever. We want to keep it local. So we have certain things that we have a lot of things common with a public authority, with the municipality. So the plan of the city of Eeklo was, they made their own plan, and they said, but that's, according to us, where wind turbines can be built. So at that time, in 1999, there was no plan of the province, no plan of the region of Flanders. And so we didn't secure the places that were excluded by the city. So we didn't go for signatures with farmers and owners of land along this highway, because they really wanted to keep it. They didn't want wind turbines there. But then the province overruled this plan, and by then other players, the commercial players, they had the signatures, so we were too late. So we only could build, I think, 3 wind turbines, and that's on public land of the city of Eeklo, or of another city, which the city of Ghent had also a piece of land there where we were able to build a wind turbine. So that's the lesson we learned. We didn't speculate and we lost. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Še kakšno vprašanje? One more?
Yeah.
Hello. So my question is, so you've been on this journey for quite a long time now, supporting the transition of energy systems towards more citizens-friendly models. And I'm wondering, I mean, you started out that the conditions back in the 80s, they were quite difficult, but it seems like they're still quite difficult and complicated. So my question is, what do you see as some of the main improvements and positives that have happened on your path and your journey, and what do you still see as the main bottlenecks and the things that you would still like to work through personally and with your cooperative to make things better and smoother for the newcomers?
Yeah, so actually my whole career, between brackets, actually I turned 65 a few days ago, but I will continue, has been we encountered obstacles, we had to overcome them. And so, let's say a very big support for our movement came from the European Union when the Renewable Energy Directive and the Internal Electricity Market Directive were revised, and we got not one but 2 definitions, one for the renewable energy communities, the other for the citizen energy communities. 2 definitions which unfortunately are not for 100% aligned, which is, I know because we were there when they were made. They were made by different people, people from member states, different people in the European Parliament, different people in the Commission. And we tried to have them aligned, but we succeeded for 90%. And now everyone thinks the differences are on purpose, that they are important. I know they are accidental. And the definitions are not perfect. For instance, you can create a citizen energy community without citizens, if you look at the definition. When they were written, no one thought it would be the case, because otherwise they wouldn't have put the word citizen there. So, but there's improvement to be made. But let's be positive and see, well, at least we have now a recognition of what already thousands of initiatives across mainly Northwestern Europe are doing. There are only a handful in Eastern and Central European countries. There are a bit more in the south of Europe, but actually it gives now every citizen in Europe, wherever they live, the possibility to organize themselves with other citizens, with their municipality, with SMEs, and eventually also with bigger companies to set up energy communities. And what is also remarkable is that in the Renewable Energy Directive, the member states even have to look at what the obstacles are, and then they have to remove them, so that citizens can take these initiatives and can take a role in the energy market. And this is what is called an enabling framework. And because most of the member states and even my own region, Flanders, didn't do it, or didn't do it properly, because most of the member states are not doing this. The European Commission launched the Energy Community Facility, which actually is a program, a project, which we as the European Federation are leading. And it provides, among other things, it's actually the example of the enabling framework all member states should make. And so we have money for 140, to help 140 initiatives across 27 member states, to help them with a lump sum of up to 50,000 euros, to help them set the first steps, to find the business case, to set up their legal entity, to have some technical studies. Depends on which stage they are in. And there will be a first call, I think in April or May next year, to find already half of these 140 initiatives. There will be a second call later. So if you have starting initiatives, if there are municipalities wanting to set up with their citizens an energy community, keep an eye on our communication, on our newsletter, because there will be a call launched beginning of next year. So, and actually that's how the Commission will give how they give the member states the example of what they should do themselves. Yeah. So that's, let's say, we're positive, but indeed there's a lot of work to be done, still to be done.
Okay, thank you. Še kakšno vprašanje? Hitro. Če ne, thank you, Dirk. We are at the end of the conference as well, not only your presentation. Torej, hvala. Ne? Na zaključku smo, hvala za udeležbo. Hvala vsem govorcem. Upamo, da ste dobili kakšen navdih, seveda nove informacije, znanje in povabljeni tudi, da obiščete spletno stran oziroma Facebook profil Dovolj za vse, kjer lahko vedno najdete zanimive novice, zemljevid dobrih praks, tudi priročnike na različnih področjih za vzpostavitve skupnostnih projektov na področju za hrano, mobilnost, energetiko, turizem in drugo. In tudi povabljeni, da nam sporočite vaše pobude oziroma potrebe, da vas podpremo, kako vas lahko podpremo v bodoče. Tako da hvala in se vidimo naslednje leto. Hrana je še ostala, tako da toplo vabljeni, da se še podružite in da počistimo zaloge. Tisti pa, ki sodelujete na delavnici, ki sledi zdaj ob enih, pa seveda povabljeni, da se zberemo tukaj oziroma nekje po vhodu iz te sobe, recimo čez 5 minut, tako da lahko še malo prigriznite, 15 do, in bomo skupaj odšli do dvorane Vrtnica, ker je kar malo zapleten dostop do tja. No? Tako da z ostalimi pa se vidimo ob priliki oziroma naslednje leto in hvala.